Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TriStar Gym channel. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier. I'm going to tell you guys right away, I'm with everybody. Everybody's picking Makhachev. Everybody's picking Makhachev. I'm looking at the poll that I'm taking in the chat already. We're at 83% Makhachev. Already we're at 83% Makhachev. The whole world expects Makhachev to win. Now listen, I'm also expecting Makhachev to win. But I'm going to make a case for Dustin Poirier, guys. We're overlooking Dustin Poirier. Poirier is one of the greats. He's one of the best of all time. He's a legend of the sport. However, I got to be honest. I haven't heard one person pick Poirier yet. And I've talked to a bunch of people about this fight. And nobody. When I tell you, I haven't heard anybody pick Poirier. Of course, his coaching staff. Of course, his team is picking Poirier. Of course, you have to pick the guy you're training. That would be insane not to pick the guy you're training. However, anybody not involved in this fight personally, who's personally not involved in this fight, they're all picking Islam Makhachev. Guys, make sure to use promo code LEVELUP50 off. It's on the bottom of your screen. Get 50% off anything on JujiClub.com. I just released Ultimate Wrestle Up and Ultimate K-Guard. Absolutely fantastic instructionals. Make sure to pick it up. Get strong and stable back for life. Get strong and stable knees for life. Get strong and stable running for life, guys. Pick up that collection. It is now 50% off. Level up 50 off on JujiClub.com. Make sure to use the promo. Do not forget to punch in that promo. Guys, with that said, I haven't found one person make a case for Dustin Poirier. I'm going to make one for him, for you, all of you now. We saw his Benoit fight. When he fought Benoit, he got dominated the first two rounds, guys. Let's be honest. He got his back taken. He got taken down repeatedly. He went for that guillotine over and over again. I don't think Dustin Poirier has ever finished a guillotine. I'm going to go check up his topology right now. I can't remember him ever winning by submission. Forget guillotine. Let me look that up. Has he ever won by guillotine? Never. I don't think ever guillotine. By submission, I'm sure he's had a sub here and there. 30-8. Let's see here. How many submissions? 7 wins by submission. Let's see who he submitted. Okay, let's see. It's been a long time since we've seen him get a submission. Okay, his submission win would be... He beat Jonathan Brookins by a Darce choke. You know what? I think I was in the corner in that fight. That's right. Jonathan Brookins. Was it? I can't remember if I was there. Okay, but I've trained Jonathan Brookins many years ago. He was a phenomenal athlete. He won the tough tournament, but not a very serious fighter. Like, he wasn't in the practice room often. You know, he would come in a little bit before he had a fight lined up, and he would train sparingly. Let's just say that. Okay, he was a phenomenal athlete, lots of good potential. However, he's not the guy who was in the practice room very often. He got subbed by Dustin Poirier, and that was in 2012. Dustin Poirier's last submission was 12 years ago. Dustin Poirier has been fighting in UFC for 12 years and hasn't scored a submission in 12 years. Okay, now, before that, he got an triangle armbar versus Max Holloway. Okay, I don't remember ever watching that fight. This has got to be very early in Max Holloway's career. Max Holloway had 4 fights at the time. 4 fights. He has a win over Max Holloway by triangle armbar. Other than that, he has a Darce choke against Pablo Garza. That was in 2011. Okay, so earlier in his UFC career, he did land some good submissions. Okay, he has some submissions, but it's been 12 years. 12 years since he's had a submission in UFC. Guys, he's going against the best grappler since he fought Khabib. None of us believe that guillotine is going to work. Please give me a thumbs up if you think that guillotine is going to work. Guys, by the way, give me a thumbs up if my mic is working. The last episode, I talked for 15 minutes without a mic. Okay, I'm assuming my mic is on because nobody's exploding in the chat. That guillotine against Benoit didn't work. Okay, when he tried the guillotine against Benoit Saint-Denis, it didn't work. He tried it, I think, 4 or 5 times. But I'll tell you this. I'm going to give him credit. It's fatigued. Benoit Saint-Denis. It fatigued him. I know he said he had Staph later, but let's be honest here. That pace that Benoit Saint-Denis put on Poirier was not sustainable for 5 rounds. Don't forget, that was a 5-round fight. That was a crazy pace. If he didn't get that finish, I was telling myself, look, he's going to get finished by Poirier. If he can't sub Poirier, he had Poirier's back at one point. I can't remember if it was round 2 or round 1, but I think it was round 2. I was telling myself, if he doesn't sink in this choke, he's going to get knocked out. And sure enough, in round 3, he got knocked out. Was it round? No, it was round 2, excuse me. So halfway through round 2, he got knocked out. It was an unsustainable pace. How can Poirier win? We all know the answer. He's got to box Makhachev. But if he gets into a gunfight with Makhachev, we all believe Makhachev is going to get in the legs. He's going to body lock him. He's going to trip him. He's going to maul him in the wrestling. Maul him with the judo, with the wrestling. Don't forget, Makhachev doesn't have just good wrestling. He has fantastic judo. He has elite level judo. He has a Haragoshi who is an excellent Haragoshi. He gets it all the time. He has incredible trips. He has incredible body locks. He has foot sweeps. He has double legs. He's an absolute killer. And when he gets on top of you on the ground, he's tapped elite black belts. Now, I know Dustin Poirier is a black belt, but he's not at the level of Oliveira. And Oliveira got subbed. You guys remember when Islam Makhachev put that arm triangle on Oliveira? Oliveira was doing a panic tap, which tells me like how that squeeze must have been on so tight. It didn't take 2 seconds. Oliveira was tapping. Poirier will get overpowered on the ground. Now, I said I was going to make a case for Poirier, but I'm having a hard time here. I'm thinking Poirier's got to box him, obviously. Poirier is a volume puncher. He's not a one-shot, one-kill type fighter. Now, he has punching power. Don't get me wrong. He has punching power. He put away a lot of dudes. However, he doesn't have that one-punch, one-shot, one-kill type punch. Islam has shown to have a very good chin. He's going to have to put a lot of boxing on Islam. He's going to have to put a lot of boxing. And that boxing is going to be tough to do because he's walking a fine line. If he gets too excited with the boxing, he's going to get taken down. If he gets taken down, guys, he's going to get mauled and finished. I'm finding myself having a hard time to make a case for Poirier. Even though Poirier is a legend, guys, let's be honest. He's going up against one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. A guy who rarely makes a mistake out there in the octagon. He rarely makes a mistake. And this will be Makhachev's fourth title fight. Fourth. He has 3 title fights in the bag, if I remember correctly. Yes, Oliveira was a title fight. It'll be his 3rd defense. 3rd, and he has 4 fights, right? He fought Alexander 2 times. He fought Oliveira, so this will be his 4th. He defended it twice. Now this will be his 3rd defense. He's maturing as a champion. Guys, it looks so bad for Poirier. It looks so bad. Somebody give me a reason why Poirier is going to win. Somebody out there. Guys, no super chats. We're only doing super chats on this fight. We're only strictly talking about the Poirier versus Makhachev fight. After that, we'll move on to other topics. Guys, we're only doing questions on this fight. Can anybody give me one single reason? Poirier got the white power, though. That's from Muhammad Khan. Okay, but Islam's pretty white himself. Both men don't have too much melanin. Dustin subbed Chandler in 2022. Really? Let me look that up. Hold on a second. I don't remember him subbing. What, did he get rear naked choke? Oh, you're right. Look at that. Look at that. Rear naked choke against Michael Chandler. I remember that fight. He backpacked him. Correct. Okay, this is a great silver lining. Maybe, possibly, he climbs on the back of Islam Makhachev and chokes him out. Okay, you're giving me a little more hope here. You're giving me a little more hope. Islam has staph infection. What do you think of that, coach? That's from Abdelaziz. If it's true, I don't think he would tell people. However, if it's true, staph can be very difficult because you have to take antibiotics. If those of you who've never trained on antibiotics, it is very difficult. So if Islam Makhachev has staph and he has to take a lot of antibiotics and the UFC is pressuring him to do the fight because they don't want to cancel the event, that's a really good sign for Poirier because antibiotics kill your cardio. Kill your cardio. Guys, I've trained on antibiotics. It is. I've seen elite athletes train on antibiotics, and it absolutely, no doubt, affects performance, mainly cardio, heavily. So, okay, he's got a rear naked choke ability, 2022 win, rear naked choke on a hard guy to choke, and he has possible Islam Makhachev on antibiotics, which is going to make Islam really tired quickly. So, okay, those are two silver linings. What else we got here? He going to shine like a diamond. Andy Bug says he's going to shine like a diamond. Okay, but give me a reason why he will shine like a diamond. He would have to seriously rock Islam to go for a sub. That's from Hasling. Yes, that's true, guys. He's going to have to hurt. He's going to have to put the hands. Guys, I don't think anybody can give me a real path to victory here. He's going to have to stay on his feet. Not going to be easy to do. He's going to have to stay off the fence. Not going to be easy to do. He's going to have to trade fire with Islam Makhachev. And Islam hits hard, guys. Guys, you all underestimate Islam Makhachev's striking ability. You all underestimate it. The fact that you're constantly going to be worried against his strikes, you have to put some of your attention on his takedown. Excuse me. Because you have to put so much of attention on stopping the takedown, you can overlook his striking, and bang, you get caught with one of those hard shots. He's a hard hitter. Islam Makhachev is a hard hitter. Okay, guys, I got to tell you, I think this is going to be one of the shortest pre-fight analysis I'm going to give you. We're 13 minutes in. I'm telling you guys, I think Islam's going to outstrike him. He's going to out-grapple him on the fence. He's going to out-wrestle him. And on the ground, it's going to be just Islam. It's going to be the Islam Makhachev show on the ground. I think I'm giving this an 80-20 Islam Makhachev. 80-20 for Islam Makhachev. And you guys are giving me 79-21 on the board. 79-21. We have 260 votes. 79% of you think Islam Makhachev is going to win. I had a psychic reading on this fight, and this lady said Dustin wins. That's from Silver Theta. I hope Sunday morning you wake up and get your money back. Okay, guys. 14 minutes, and we did our fight analysis. This is a record-breaking fight analysis. Usually, I always do a 50. Like, I always take fights. I always pick fights to do analysis on when I feel it's like 50-50, and it's really hard to decide. I rarely take these kind of fights to do analysis on, because look what happens. We end up talking about nothing. Guys, I'm opening it up now to ask me anything, but let's talk about the fights. What other fights are we excited about? What other main events can we break down? If Islam Makhachev has Staph, guys, I got to tell you, Staph is killer. It is killer. I've seen elite athletes have Staph, take medication, and they're dying in the gym. We could get a major upset. We can get if it's true, he has a bad Staph and he's on antibiotics. Personally, if I had Staph, I would not take the antibiotics if I'm close to a fight. I wouldn't. I would let the Staph eat my body alive. The antibiotics are killer. They zap energy. They just take you from an elite athlete to a regular Joe. It's just a really, really bad medication to fight on. Why is Nick Diaz fighting again? That's from Parviz Malakuti. Parviz. The answer to 99 questions out of 100 is money. Money. He's coming back for money, guys. He's going to be getting a payday, a big payday. Minimum, I would say they're probably paying him $500,000. Minimum. Wouldn't you step in the ring for 15 minutes of your life just to make $500,000? I would. So, I mean, absolutely, he's going to fight. He's going to fight till they don't give him big paydays no more. Paulo Costa going to walk through Strickland's. Thoughts? That's from C. Guys, this is an exciting fight. This is a very hard to pick fight. If I was Strickland, I would ask for a main event 5 round. Because 3 rounds, Paulo Costa is going to be very tough to put away. He's going to be very tough to deal with. I think I'm going to pick Strickland. However, this is a very difficult fight to call. Very difficult. I think Paulo Costa is on that secret juice, if you know what I mean. It's 5 rounds. Okay, great. It's Costa and Strickland is 5 rounds. I'll pick Strickland. I have a lot more confidence now for Strickland. UFC robbed Nick Diaz of his career with that weed bullshit. That's from Gold. Josie. Yes and no. I mean, here's the thing, here's the thing. People say, oh, weed doesn't doesn't enhance performance. I disagree. I totally disagree. I totally disagree. Fighting is one of the scariest things. It's nerve-wracking. It's stressful. And the nerves can really kill your fight. They can kill your performance. It's a lie that weed doesn't help. Everybody out there is going to yell at me. I know everybody's going to come after me for this. Oh, coach, what are you talking about? Weed is nothing. It's like having a drink. It's nothing. It doesn't do anything. You're wrong. You're totally wrong. You're totally wrong. Then why do they need it? Why can't they stay clean for a month or two? Why? Because the fight, the pressure, the talk, the hype is too much psychologically. They break down. It's a mental war. It's a mental war just as it's a physical war. I've seen guys go into fights and choke. Why? The stress was too much. Maybe if we gave them weed, it numbed their brain. They weren't thinking. They were spaced out. Maybe their fighting skills could surface. Guys, choking is a real thing. The moment gets big, your heart rate increases. You're sweating. You're in front of millions of people watching you. It's insanely difficult mentally. Now, some guys are too dumb to realize how hyped it is, how difficult it is mentally. So some fighters, because they don't think about it, they're like, just like, I've worked with fighters who were like, just they don't even compute. However, the guys who are more aware of what's going on, how the danger of this fight, and the guys who are more experienced, who've gotten hurt in the past, man, it could be very difficult to step in there, very difficult, and perform well. You're performing under tremendous pressure. I have utmost respect for everybody who steps in there. I have the utmost respect for anybody who steps in and actually gets to that level and does it. It's a crazy, difficult endeavor. If you're smoking weed, I think you're using a crutch. It makes you numb to the stress. So I think it's an advantage. And also, look, I don't know, but I think like you could maybe take a punch better. Like you could take pain. It numbs pain. I assume it numbs pain because people take it for pain, right? If you have a cancer patient and the cancer patient's under a lot of pain, what do they give them? They give them marijuana. So it numbs pain, so. Sorry, I can't respect someone who chooses a drug over millions of dollars and the sport you trained your whole life for. That's from Drew Mack. Yeah, some people are gonna say, look, Nick, you shot yourself in the foot. You broke the rules. Don't smoke weed. Stay clean for a little bit. You're a professional athlete. Why are you gonna throw down? You're gonna throw your entire career over like a little recreational type drug, Islam is arguably the better striker than Khabib. Has good wrestling, arm lock. The Dan Hooker arm lock was one of the nastiest twists I've seen. I think it was a Kimura. It wasn't an arm lock. And most people can't remember that. Islam getting hand raised this weekend. That's from Shiz, guys. Absolutely, for sure. I really think 80% chance. Shiz, you're 100%. You're 80% right. I would say about 80%. And look at that. The poll in the chat room is 80-20. However, if the Staph rumor is true, we can have a very big surprise. Weed makes you more nervous. GSP would have a panic attack. That's from Larry Bird. I don't think weed makes people more nervous if you're used to taking weed every day. Like I doubt, because being nervous is an uncomfortable feeling. Why would you take a drug that makes you nervous? That doesn't make any sense to me. I think people, when they smoke weed, they're more relaxed and happy. I think if you take too much weed, I heard people bad trip, they get paranoid or whatnot. Like, I think people react differently. I think there's different kinds of marijuana. I'm not an expert in marijuana. Okay, I really don't know. However, I've heard people talk about it. I've listened to, there was actually one really, really good debate between two guys on the Joe Rogan podcast. One was pro weed and one was against weed, and they were having this back and forth. It was actually incredibly interesting. I listened to it many years ago. Actually, I would love to go back and listen to it again. And they had a really good back and forth. Two experts on weed. And I remember listening to it. I can't remember the conversation too much, but it was really, really interesting. And, it's a whole science, obviously, right? Poirier drinks wine before his fights. That's from D Thang. Look, it's allowed. You're allowed to drink wine. You're not allowed to smoke marijuana. Is it the same thing? I don't know. I don't know. They have their reasons why. And I don't think he's drinking that much wine. I doubt he could be drinking that much wine. But still, nonetheless, weed is illegal. Why did he ruin his whole career over weed? Does he need it that badly? I don't think it makes any sense. Thoughts on Craig Jones starting his own promotion? That's from Inder 10. Guys, for those of you who don't know, Abu Dhabi, the biggest grappling championship in the world, is happening very shortly. And Craig Jones, the B team leader, he's doing the Craig Jones Invitational where he's giving the winner, I think it's only one winner that's getting $1 million. Can you believe it? And every competitor is getting $10,000. To put that in perspective, the grand prize in if you win your division in Abu Dhabi is $10,000. So if you wrestle in Craig Jones's event, if you grapple in Craig Jones's event, you're getting $10,000 whether you win or lose. You're getting $1 million if you win. In Abu Dhabi, you're getting $10,000, and the super fight winner, I believe, is getting $40,000. So Craig is bringing in the bank. He's bringing in massive bank, and also from what I heard, he's starting his own grappling league, another grappling league. Guys, he's bringing a lot of money into grappling. This is good for the sport. It's going to make Abu Dhabi have to find new investors, find new sponsors, and get grapplers paid, fighters paid. I think it could be good for the sport. However, a lot of people are jumping ship. They're not competing in Abu Dhabi. They're all jumping ship. I heard the Rutulo brothers are going. I heard rumors of Mika is going to sign with them. Who else is going? I mean, I think New Wave is not going. They're going to, they're not going to turn their back on ADCC. However, I'm hearing the Pickett brothers are going. Like, so many elite fighters are going to be going. Grapplers are going to be going to the Craig Jones event. Guys, this is like a huge like sabotage. He's doing it on the same day. It's all about, he's going to war with ADCC. Okay, so I mean, you guys, you can have all your thoughts on that. At the end of the day, I think it's good for the competitors. Why? There's a bidding war on the competitors, the competitors' talent. Okay, so are you banning anxiety meds for fighters too? Ridiculous question mark. Ridiculous argument. That's from Jugo. Jugo thinks I'm making a ridiculous argument that would I ban anxiety medication for fighters? Yes. If your job makes you anxious, if fighting in the ring, in the cage, makes you anxious, you shouldn't be fighting. Okay. You shouldn't be fighting. Imagine I pop a guy, I give him pills, Mr. What is his name? Hugo, imagine you come to me like, oh, I'm super nervous. I'm super scared. I can't get in there. I'm too stressed. I can barely train. I can barely function as a human being. Why? I have this MMA fight booked and I can barely sleep. I sleep 10 minutes a day. I'm so nervous. And you medicate that guy. And he gets in there. Well, guess what? Why do you think he's so nervous? He's probably not the best fighter in the world. He's probably, has good reasons to be nervous. And then he goes in the fight. Let's say he gets laid out. He gets a concussion. And then his life is horrible after. He's even more anxious. He's even more... You just numbed his pain and threw him in there? I don't think that makes any sense. There's a reason why people have anxiety. There's a reason. You got to get to the root of the problem. You can't just mask it with drugs. Oh, here, let me mask your anxiety and throw you in the octagon. What if the guy gets his jaw broken, gets his arm broken, gets completely has a horrible experience in the octagon? Well, you're the one who drugged him and got him in there. If the anxiety is too much, you should call the UFC and say, look, I'm going to bow out of this fight. It's too much. I'm not able to function. I'm just not able to. Guys, believe me, this has happened. I swear to you. I won't name names. But I know more than one professional fighter who quit the game because of anxiety. It happens. Guys, I know guys who showed up to the fight. They did the weigh-in. They did the rehydration. They did everything. They showed up to the fight with the intention of fighting. I'm talking about UFC level here. UFC events. And left. They left the arena. And UFC would let them bow out with grace. They'll give an excuse. Okay, the guy had a whatever. But I'm telling you, it happens. People don't step into the octagon. They don't. Not only do sometimes they go into the octagon and choke, and the guy's a better fighter than that, but he had a horrible fight. Why? The moment got to him. You can't use drugs, Hugo. You can't use drugs if you can't take the mental beating it takes to get in there and take a chance. Then Hugo, I don't think you should be in there. Why? Are we gonna drug these guys? What kind of animals are we? What kind of human beings are we? We're gonna make human beings do things that they absolutely are too stressed and terrified to do. Why? There's 10 other guys ready to take his place. Let that guy go do something else. Let him be an engineer. Let him, be a mailman. Do whatever it is that makes you happy, that you can contribute to society. Why do you have to be an MMA fighter? It's absurd that you object to my point. I find it absurd that you think we should drug them, medicate them on whatever drug, give them Ativan and get them all hyped up, and the guy's gonna get in there and he's gonna be, and then he's gonna get knocked out like a dummy. That's absolutely absurd. A person should go in there with a fully sober mind. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's getting himself into. He's of sound mind and body. And he has the heart and the will and the guts to do it. If he doesn't, don't let him in there. He doesn't, in his heart of hearts, he doesn't want to be in there. Hugo, I sincerely have to disagree. I find that absurd that you think we should medicate them. Okay, guys, don't forget, I'm always doing a mix of chats and super chats. CBD, totally legal, and tons of fighters take it for sleep and anxiety, coach. That's from Larry Bird. But CBD is not with THC, right? It doesn't get you high. I don't think CBD gets you high. I think CBD is for inflammation. Guys, I could be completely wrong. Forgive me if I am. Look, there's a gray zone. They tell us, look, these sleep medications, you could take them. These medications, you can't. Okay, look, you're allowed to take a sleeping pill. I think. I'm not sure. Okay, I haven't checked with the UFC over sleeping pills because none of the fighters I've ever trained take sleeping pills. But let's say, can you take chamomile tea? Yeah, chamomile tea helps you sleep. I'm sure. Again, guys, don't take my word for it. I haven't looked at the list. But fighters will text. There's always somebody in the UFC you could text and ask, okay? There's a gray zone. Yes, guys, I get it. There's a drug that says yes and a drug that says they're going to say no. And what's the logic? Well, they had to draw a line somewhere. These drugs are similar, but there's a gray zone. And guys, they're going to cut the pie somewhere down the line, and they have their justifications for it. I'm not an expert in these things, but I'm telling you, where they draw the line, as a competitor, as a coach, we have to accept these. Okay, we have to accept. If marijuana is not allowed, I agree. If you ask my opinion, and it's just an opinion, take it with a grain of salt, okay? Because I don't think marijuana should be allowed. Okay, let me put one imbecile into a timeout. I'll give him a timeout. Next time I'll ban him. Just a dummy. Coach, MVP is one of the most talented martial arts athletes I've seen. Chatters, check out his Bellator and early fights. At the age of 36 or 37, chances of him being a champ is tough division. In a tough division is likely, ? Thoughts? That's from Shiz. Shiz, he's fighting Ian Garry. I think he beats Ian Garry. Guys, I know MVP, Michael Venom Page. For those of you who don't know, I know him very, very well. I've watched many, many of his fights. He's an elite, one of the greatest karate competitors ever in the history of karate. Of course, he made his leap to MMA. He won the Bellator championship, if I remember correctly. He lost once to Douglas Lima, once to, I'm forgetting the wrestler, a very good wrestler. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. He has a few losses in Bellator, okay? Michael Venom Page, let's see here. Let's get this right. He has 2 losses. One to Logan Storley. That's right. He got out wrestled by Logan Storley. He has a Mike Perry loss in bare knuckle boxing. Very, very, very close fight. I watched that fight. That was very, very close. He lost to Douglas Lima once as well. So he has 3 losses on his record. Guys, he's also fought a lot of guys you've never heard of, okay? So I don't want to tell you guys he's got the greatest fight record of all time. No. But he's an elite fighter. He's going to be very hard to deal with. I think he's too experienced for Ian Garry. Ian Garry's very deadly, very dangerous. However, I think MVP is going to get it done. This has to be Qatar. My friend was telling me today he was starting to take anxiety medication. I completely agree with your assessment for a fighter. That's from Hassan. Thank you, Hassan. Some people might not agree, but I think you shouldn't give fighters anti-anxiety medication. It doesn't make sense. Not for fighting. Guys, if you're, I don't know, doing another job, maybe anti-anxiety medications make sense. I don't think you should ever take anti-anxiety. Don't take my, guys, I'm not trying to give medical advice here. Talk to your doctor, of course. Me personally, I don't think I would ever take anti-anxiety medication unless it was in something extreme. It would have to be something extreme, like something like bonkers. I'm not a believer in these kind of things. So I personally wouldn't do it. I'm not telling you guys you shouldn't. I'm not a big believer in what doctors peddle. I think they're big in business. I think it's big business. These things are so profitable for pharma. Every year, medications increase for mental problems, mental anxiety. Every year they have come up with new medications, and every year new mental ailments come on the market. Explain that to me. Every year we have new medications that come on. Every year they make up new ailments. They just make them up. They get psychologists together in a room, and if you have dry mouth and you were a little bit grumpy today, you have this disease. It's all done by consensus, guys. Believe me when I tell you, I almost majored in psychology. I guarantee you guys, I'm completely right on this. I almost majored in psychology. I love psychology. However, I went into philosophy solely because they had more objective logic. Psychology, ultimately, it's all opinion. It's all how you paint the picture. It's all my opinion of this person. That's all it is. There's no hard objective logic. In philosophy, you have hard objective logic. Psychology is very interesting. I'm still to this day fascinated in psychology. I read up on psychology all the time. I love psychology. However, there's no objective standards in psychology. There is none. It all goes by consensus. The vast majority of conclusions are by consensus and opinion. They're opinion pieces, ultimately. Of course, they make studies, okay? But their interpretation is always some type of subjective narrative. Please check my super chat. Guys, I'm always doing a mix of super chat and non-super chats. Big fan, coach. As one of the greatest, could you rank these coaches from best to worst? Javier Mendez, Eric Nixick, Harmony Hoofs, Tim Welch. Much love. Ryan, thank you. That's very sweet of you. I appreciate it. However, I know those guys personally, the vast majority of them, so I cannot do that because you'll get me in a lot of trouble. Coach, check Islam's right leg in the ESPN MMA tweet page. He seems to have staph. How will that affect the fight? That's from Hatcher. Hatcher, that'll horribly. Let me look that up, okay? Because I know staph very well. Islam Makhachev staph. Let's find a photo here. Guys, if he has staph, it's crazy bad news. Crazy bad news. It's this weekend. Uh-oh, here's the picture. Okay, it's not that bad. It looks dead. Guys, I hope this is the picture. Hold on, let's see here. Did Islam Makhachev have another staph infection? Okay, here it is. Let's see. Oh. Hold on, I zoomed in on it. That's pretty bad. Yeah. That's staph, my friends. Guys, I could tell, I'm not a doctor, okay? I didn't go to medical school, okay? But I know stuff when I see it, okay? I've traveled all over the world. I've trained with thousands of people, thousands. I can tell you a staph infection when I see it. Friends, that is staph. That is staph. Damn. That is staph. Damn it. Listen, if he's on staph meds and the fight's this weekend, if that picture was this week, damn, that's not good news. Weed does help with pain, but I feel it's mainly psychological. I know that sounds weird, but that's my experience. That's some gold, Josie. Well, what can I say? Nick Diaz hasn't won a fight since 2011. That's nuts. That's from Parviz. Yeah, but he also hasn't fought in a very, very long time. Don't forget, when he fought Carlos Condit, a lot of people thought he won. he could have been world champion. Like, I mean, I thought he won that last round. I'd have to rewatch it again, but that was a very close fight. Could have definitely went Nick Diaz's way. And he would have been Strikeforce champion, UFC champion. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, he's one of the legends. What is your favorite way to control the back? That's from Slightly Annoyed Human. Slightly Annoyed Human. Check out Control Freak. I have a video called Control Freak. It's a really, really popular video. It's all about back control, how to stay on the back once you get the back. Okay. Now, these days, I'm doing a lot of side choke. Check out my last video on this channel. I just released it, I believe, yesterday. I show the side choke. When you take somebody's back, I show a pendulum sweep and side choke. Check out that video. Get Control Freak. You're going to love it. Okay. So these days, I'm doing a lot of side choke. Tons of side choking. A lot of people now are calling it the Rotolotine, which is one of my favorite finishes. Weed decreases reaction speed. That's from Anderson Flux. Maybe. I don't know. You know, I guess you'd have to test it in a lab. How much weed? You know, I don't know. So why would they take it? Why would you take something that makes you slower? You know what I mean? So I don't know. Guys, again, I'm not a weed expert, okay? So please, don't ask me for details. I'm just telling you my opinion. Some people fight way better high. Even Joe Rogan said it last podcast. He was better high. That's from Chad Hart. Guys, I used to train a guy. His nickname was the Alien. Extraterrestre. Okay, he was Canadian champion multiple times. He used to, before the fight, go and smoke weed. He thought he'd made him fight better. Okay, I would train him. He was sober in the practice room. Then on fight day, he would smoke. And I know other fighters who fought in UFC. They have to smoke. I train a lot of fighters. I don't follow what these people do in their personal life, but I know guys who they have to smoke. On fight day, they have to smoke. Why? Anxiety, stress. Guys, I don't. This is before USADA as well. You know, I know guys who smoke weed before fights. They smoke weed. Like I've been going to UFC for well over 20 years. At the highest level, guys smoke weed before fights. Why? I don't know. I think it's the stress. I think it's I don't know. They believe it makes them better. Coach, how is Petr Yan so good at grappling when he started MMA late? That's from Naoya Minamino. Well, he's dedicated his entire life to training and being the best. I don't know how late he started, but he's a very talented human being and he's training around the clock. You know, when you put your entire energy and your mind on something, you focus on one thing every day. You just focus. You're going to get into the elite level. You will. If you want to do anything in life, you put your entire focus on that one thing. You will reach world-class levels. However, it doesn't mean you're going to be a champion. To be a champion, you need to have a God-given talent. Most of the time, you not only have to have this hard work and this laser focus, you also have to have a God-given talent. And even then, sometimes it's not enough. Things have to go your way. You have to have an incredible journey where things went your way. You have to be blessed, fortunately blessed. Because I'm telling you, sometimes you see fights, like look at Nick Diaz. He's not going to be going down in history books as a UFC world champion. He's not. However, if the ball bounced slightly differently, just by a hair, he was world champion. A different judge that night watching the fight. Because I think when I remember thinking he won the fight. I'd have to go back and rewatch it because I've watched countless fights since then. But he could have had the win and be a world champion, UFC world champion, Strikeforce world champion. That's huge. That's huge, man. It's incredible how things can change by a hair. Is Kazakatami a good position? ? And is Ezekiel choke a good submission? ? Do they work at high level? That's from Mike Godwin. Mike, Katakatami is not only a great finish, it's also a great pin. I absolutely love it, guys. Arm triangle is just Kazakatami is just a fancy way of saying arm triangle, the Japanese way of saying arm triangle. You guys know that submission is one of the most popular and most successful submissions in both jiu-jitsu and MMA. Ezekiel, however, is when you fold your arms like this around a guy's neck. Okay. Now, with the gi, it's great. Without the gi, it's very difficult. There's only one guy one or two guys that do it. Okay, my trainer, John's trainer, Renzo Gracie, in the practice room without a gi, he would put Ezekiel on us. He would choke us, guys. It was incredible. Like if you went double underhooks on him standing up, he would jump guard and Ezekiel you. Like he had a crazy. Renzo Gracie had the best Ezekiel ever. Incredible. Gi or no gi, he would even with MMA gloves on. With MMA gloves on, he would put you in Ezekiel, choke you. Crazy pressure, incredible. I'm forgetting there's a heavyweight in UFC who also does it. From bottom mount, he lets himself get mounted and he does Ezekiel and he chaps guys. Guys, I've tried it. I've tried to go in practice room and try Ezekiel. I know how it's done. I've seen them do it. They've taught it to me. Like I've had Renzo even show it. None of us can do it. I don't know why. It's a mystery. You know, it's crazy because in training, like for instance, I know George does this one maneuver in wrestling. Like he runs the pipe into a Barzagar. He's one of the greatest Barzagar wrestlers. He hits this move. It's called the Barzagar. It's like a head inside double. It's incredible. It's a beautiful maneuver. I absolutely love it. I've trained it for years with him, along with him. I know he does it. He showed it to me 1,000 times. I've learned it, like I've drilled it countless times. I don't do it. I do it rarely. I do it, but not often. George does it all the time. All the time. If he gets to a single leg, guess what? I'll count to 3. I know the Barzagar is coming. Everybody knows it's coming. The guys who are fighting him know it's coming. But they can't stop it. It's just he's so good at that. And then you find athletes who are really good at this one move. Like they're good at many moves, but this one move, they get it all the time. And then when you try to do it and you follow their step, it doesn't work. And it's mystifying. Like the one guy in the UFC who does that Ezekiel choke, which I can't remember his name right now, but it's brilliant. I think he's done it like 4 or 5 times. Somebody put his name in the chat, please. It's incredible. Guys, it's incredible. He's doing it with MMA gloves. No gi. It's incredible. And he gets like these feverish taps. Like the guys are tapping. They're not just like tapping, okay, you got me, but you're borderline. No, they're choking. Like they're choking. They're panicking for air. Somebody give his name. Yes, Olenek. Hold on. Let me see how many Ezekiel chokes. Olenek. I saw somebody bring up Tony Ferguson. Guys, yes, I will bring up Tony Ferguson. 61-18. The man's got nearly 100 fights. Incredible. Arm triangle. Recently, arm triangle. Okay, he won a boxing fight. Neck crank from scarf hold. Okay, he's had a couple of losses in UFC. Arm bar. Rear naked choke. Ezekiel choke from bottom. Okay, he did that against Albany. Junior Albany. Neck crank. Ezekiel choke versus Vitor Pesta. That was in UFC. Okay, so he has a bunch of neck crank wins. I got to go back and visit those. Neck crank. Okay, so he has 2 Ezekiel chokes in UFC. Guys, that's a lot. He's probably got the only 2 Ezekiel chokes in UFC. I don't think I've ever seen Ezekiel choke outside of in UFC other than this guy. I don't know how they do it, guys. I've tried it. I know how Ezekiel is done. I'm mystified. And it's not the only move that's mystified me. And I've had guys who have these one tricks that they do and show it to me, and I can't do it. And the whole practice room can't do it. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's almost like they bend the laws of physics. Like they're doing something that doesn't make any sense, but it works. It's incredible. In your opinion, does Topuria have a better chance at beating Islam than Volk? That's from Sam Santi. No, I think he gets mauled by Islam Makhachev. I think he gets mauled. Coach, when are you going on a Joe Rogan podcast and having another scientific discussion, question mark? Why is Rogan such a bonehead? That's from Arturo Fuentes. Arturo, that's not nice of you. Number one, he's not a bonehead. Joe Rogan's a very intelligent guy. I've had conversations with him before I did this podcast. One time we had breakfast together. He was a true gentleman and a scholar. He paid for my breakfast. We bumped into each other at the airport. He came and he sat down with me. I was already sitting down. I was like, is Joe Rogan, this superstar, going to come and sit with me? I couldn't believe it. He sat down and we chatted, and he knows a lot, man. He's very well informed. We're talking obviously on, we're talking about aliens and all sorts of, stuff that he's very informed about, like conspiracy theories. We had a really fun discussion. And I'm happy to do his podcast a third time. You guys got to ask him. He knows my number. He could reach out to me anytime. I'm happy to go down and do his podcast again. Thank you very much, Parviz. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you. Can you be a black belt without having a God-given talent? ? That's from Ibrahim. Absolutely. Absolutely, you can be a black belt. Listen, if you put in the time and energy, you can be a black belt. But I'll tell you guys something. Black belt is just the beginning. It's not just because you have a black belt doesn't mean you're this killer. Look, you should be easily able to subdue a regular Joe. Yes, okay. If you're a black belt and a regular Joe attacks you in the street, you should be able to crush him with ease. However, other black belts could crush you. Okay, there are levels to black belt, guys. There are levels. There are world-class black belts out there. You put two black belts together, you can see one black belt crush that black belt over and over again. Even though that guy, he fulfilled the criteria for black belt. Black belt is the beginning. Last week 2 weeks ago, I gave 3 black belts. 3 black belts. And I told those guys, black belt is the beginning. It's the beginning. Now you know how to train. It's not the end. So, like my kids, I tell them, look, after you get your black belts, you guys can quit. But till you get your black belts, you have to train. And if they get their black belts and they want to continue, great. If they don't, I fulfilled my duties. I taught them how to think, and I taught them how to work hard, and I taught them how to, achieve their goals. I think that black belt is very good for that. You gotta have goals in life. You gotta achieve your goals. Guys, I tell you, whenever I give black belts out, I usually say the same thing. I say the best day of my life, the best day of my life was when my daughter was born, Alisa. My sweet Alisa, she was born. That was the best day of my life. Second best day of my life is when I got my black belt. My accountant tells me, hey, throw in a third best day and say it's your wife. My accountant gives me good advice. He tells me, hey, when you give that speech, say third best day, wife. Why? When I got married. Why? My accountant says, look, it's an accounting thing. I won't go into detail. How do you think Poirier's grappling will do against Islam? That's from Jason Gonzalez. Guys, I don't think he'll do well against Islam. I don't think so. Islam's Makhachev's grappling is, in my opinion, far greater. Far greater. It's not going to be easy, but Islam's going to have a major edge. Okay, guys, what else we got here? Thoughts on K-guard entries against top-heavy opponents, 90 to 100 kilograms weight class, ? Traditional Lachlan Giles style, every entry versus hip heist entries like your latest YouTube videos. I'm not sure what you mean by hip heist entries because I didn't... which latest? I didn't show any... I released a instructional on K-guard and absolutely love it against bigger, heavier opponents. Absolutely. Guys, K-guard is my favorite guard. I use it all the time. I mean, I score subs from there literally every single day. It's my favorite guard. It's absolutely my favorite guard. Couple Ashigurami made easy Ashi Infinity videos with K-guard. Put like the leg lock game with K-guard. You're going to have a crazy advantage on, I would say, the vast majority of grapplers. I'm not sure which methods Lachlan Jal uses, but I have my own way of getting in there, and I think K-guard is easy to get into, and it's the best guard. In my opinion, it's the strongest guard of all the guards. Tony Ferguson. Larry Bird is asking, Tony Ferguson. Guys, let me bring up a video of Tony Ferguson. Guys, I love Tony Ferguson, okay? But I want you guys to analyze a video with me. I saw a video pop up of Tony Ferguson recently, and I got to give my 2 cents, okay? Let me look it up here. Guys, my button pushing skills are not so great. I've been demoted back to white belt. My last podcast, I went 13 minutes without sound. 13 minutes. Can you believe it? Horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Okay, what's the guy's name he's training with? What's Tony Ferguson's new coach now he's training with? What's his name? What's Tony Ferguson's new coach? Red Tang. I wish, brother. I wish. Goggins. Okay, there's a video with him and Goggins. Let me see here. Okay, let's see here. 6 months ago. Now, I want something recent. Wasn't it recent? David Goggins trains Tony Ferguson. No one will finish him. I broke him. Okay, you broke him. Okay, was it this one? Come on. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see this video here. The MMA. Okay, let me put this on the screen. Tony Ferguson. Guys, I got to say, I'm a huge fan of Tony. Just because of how crazy he is. Let's see here, guys. Give me 30 seconds. I'm going to have it on screen. My button pushing skills. Okay. How do I do this? Damn it. Okay, guys. If you count to 30, I'll have this done. Display capture. No. What is it? Window capture. There it is. All right. All right. Okay, here we go. 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 We are seconds away, gentlemen. We are seconds away. I don't want to get all braggy about my button pushing skills. I shoot myself in the foot. Okay, guys. Let's watch this video and you guys tell me what you think. I want to hear this. Like, I like this guy, Scoggins. Don't get me wrong, okay? This guy knows what he's doing. He's a good fitness motivator. All right, let's watch this. All right, we're getting pumped up. Let's see this, okay? He's pumping Tony up. Shredded. Because the video I saw, he was just like making him do like push-ups, then weights, and just killing him, just crushing him. Air bike. Guys, I'm a big fan of the air bike, of course. Big fan of the air bike. Absolutely love it. Okay, air bike, that's good. Lunges is good. You guys know I'm a big fan of lunges. If you guys do a Strong and Stable Knees program, I'm a big fan of lunges. Is he going to throw up? Oof. Oh, he's throwing up. Okay, you guys know that I believe in sustainability. So I always talk about consistency over intensity. This is too much. This is like I'm looking for clicks. You know, like I'm doing this to the guy because I'm going to get clicks. I'm just giving you guys my honest opinion because I don't think this is going to help you win a fight. The guy's throwing up in a bag. Come on. And they had the bag ready and all that. I mean, come on. What else we got here? Let's see. He's on a treadmill throwing up. He's doing lunges. All right, let's fast forward. Okay, air bike. Killing him on the air bike, of course. This is not the video I saw. The video I saw was just... It was just Tony getting killed. Like he was doing like weights and then making him do push-ups and then more bench press and it's just egging him on. And look, I get it. Fitness training is so important for MMA, but I think Tony Ferguson needs more than just administering pain. Like Tony Ferguson's last fight was against Paddy Pimblett. Let me pull that up, okay? The problem wasn't he wasn't fit enough. Let's see. Okay, he's lost how many fights in a row now? Let's see. He's lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 losses in a row, guys. 7 losses in a row. The last fight was against Paddy Pimblett. He lost a unanimous decision. Before that, he lost to Bobby Green, Nate Diaz, Michael Chandler, Benil Dariush, Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje. I think he needs to go back to the drawing board and reinvent himself, go back to his striking fundamentals, go back to his wrestling fundamentals, go back to his jiu-jitsu fundamentals. I'll tell you guys, whenever you're lost in the weeds like this, you know, it happens to every practitioner. If you're a boxer, if you're a grappler, you're just doing bad. You're always doing bad. The answer, in my opinion, is go back to the foundation of martial arts. Go back to the basics. Go back and sharpen up the basics. Yes, get in shape. I think Goggins is doing a good job getting him in shape, but you don't want to just kill yourself with fitness. Pain is not progress. There's pain involved in progress. Yes, I agree. There is pain involved in progress. Yes. But administrating pain unnecessarily doesn't make any sense. If you run till you throw up, you ran too much. You're taking away from your time and recovery that you could be doing in boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. You're eating up training time from the other very important key elements that need to be sharpened up. And whenever an athlete is confused, he's not sure what he should do. Should I shoot? Should I kick? Should I punch? I always tell them, go back to the basics. Let's go back to the basics. Basic jab, basic cross, basic shielding, basic slipping, basic kicking, basic knees, basic double leg, basic body lock. Let's just go back to the basics and rebuild from there. Whenever you're lost in the weeds, I tell my fighters, whenever you're confused in a fight, you don't know what to do, go back to what is the most basic. There's a reason why we call these moves the basics. Oh my God, look at this. Look at this. I made a heart shape with my hands and the computer knows. Look at that. I noticed earlier I did a thumbs up and it gave me a, look at that. Oh, wow. I can make gestures. Look at that, guys. I'm in the Matrix, guys. Let's see. Oh, that's why I had balloons the other day. There was balloons that popped up. And I was like, why is there balloons popping up? I wonder what other gang signs can I do? Let's see here. Look at this, guys. I'm in the Matrix. Look at this. Okay. Well, this one popped up a heart. Look at that. Look how crazy this technology is, guys. Look at this. I'm like a caveman discovering the modern world. It's incredible. Anyways, like I was saying, I think you need to go back to the basics. Guys, there's a reason why I made this series, Advanced Basics. In fact, you guys need to know these basics. The basics are the most important. You know, sometimes I roll with my students. Let me tell you what I do with my students. Okay, because I love my students, but they're on YouTube. Everybody's on YouTube. And sometimes I'm rolling with them and they try this YouTube move. And I just like, I just yell it out at the gym. YouTube move, and I just like crush it. And I just like make fun of them for trying a YouTube move on me. And don't get me wrong, YouTube moves are good. Don't get me wrong. You can learn a lot of jiu-jitsu on YouTube. Absolutely. However, sometimes people are going to show a really fancy moves. Why? They want clicks, right? If I show you a really detailed armbar that's done professionally, people are not that interested. It's not hot, sexy. It's not cool. It's not mind-blowing. But at the end of the day, that's what really works. You have to have a very, very strong foundation in the basics and then add all that funky stuff. Because if you build your game on funky stuff, your game will collapse down the line. When people figure out the buggy choke, it won't work no more. Oh, you're a buggy choke expert. You're doing buggy choke 8 hours a day. Yeah, it's going to work. You're going to surprise guys at a lower level. When you get to higher levels, they're going to have figured it out. And now you're a one-trick pony. Where's everything else? Where's the sprawl? Where's the double leg? Where's your underhook? Where's your sweep? Where's your triangle chokes? Oh, you didn't build any of that. You just did this one gimmicky, or not gimmicky, but trendy submission. And it's like when Darce came out, nobody knew how to defend the Darce. A year, 2 years later, there's all these Darce defenses that were developed. If you just did Darce, now you're going to get stopped. So foundation, fundamental. I think Tony Ferguson has to go back to the basics, really back to the basics. I don't think he needs to just get in shape. Getting in shape is one part of it, and it's very important. However, I think he needs to go back to martial arts basics. Hey, Coach, I want to say I've binge watched all your old podcasts recently, and it's improved my life. That's from Creative Production. Creative Production. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. You're a gentleman and scholar. Very happy to hear that. How to counter the question mark kick from a taller opponent. That's from Hassan. I will tell you, you got to have somebody in the practice room who throws a good question mark kick, because if you haven't seen it, it could be very tricky. So I would tell you, if you want to block the question mark kick, practice the question mark kick. Don't just like, oh, when I see it, I'll know it. No. Practice it. Because when you practice it, you start to be aware of it. Subconsciously, you know what it looks like. So when you see it happening, you're like, I know what that is. I know it's a question mark kick. Because I'll tell you something. If you don't practice it, you're going to get hit with it. Your accountant is on to something. That's from Hassan Haytham. Yes, that's right. That's right. My accountant is a wise man. He's a wise man. Even though I claim, guys, I tell you guys, I have a prenuptial agreement and I sleep with it under my pillow. I always tease my wife, when we're at parties and stuff, I tell everybody how I have an airtight prenup. Airtight. Oh, it's airtight, guys. She can't, don't worry about it. Like, that's how I keep her in check. I have an airtight prenup. And I tell people, whenever I have a bad dream, whenever coach has a bad dream, I just wake up in the middle of the night and have a bad dream. I just take that prenup from under my pillow and I read the really important clauses, that protect my assets. And I'm like, I have nothing to worry about. I slip it back under my pillow and go back to my sweet dreams. Of course, I say that as a joke when I tease my wife and all that. I say it jokingly, but it's quite a funny little bit I like. I'm not going to end up like Will Smith. Hell no. What if Islam and Nicky Ryan grappled? No rules. That's from Baba Booey. Well, Nicky's going to have an advantage, of course. He's concentrated in grappling. He knows the leg lock game more than Makhachev. He's ultimately going to end up getting Makhachev in a sub, but it wouldn't be easy. Okay, Makhachev is an experienced grappler. However, it will be in the favor of Nicky Ryan. Frankie Knuckles says, why do you recommend advanced basics 1, 2, 3 for beginners? Okay, he's talking about volumes 1, 2, and 3. When escaping out of positions and submissions is more important? Frankie, that's a very good point. However, I totally disagree, because try to teach a beginner to escape armbar. He doesn't even know what armbar is. He doesn't even understand the danger. You're explaining him, look, here's how you get out of a pin, but he doesn't understand why the guy wants to mount you. He doesn't get it. Okay, so I believe I have to teach you the attack first and then the defense to the attack, especially if they're two white belts. How are you going to teach the guy to defend the armbar when the guy doesn't even know how to get into armbar? Okay, so I've been through this, okay? I agree defense is very important. Guys, I teach a lot of escapes. I teach a lot of defense. And one day I'm going to have my defense curriculum. But think about it. I taught you armbar. I taught you triangle. I taught you leg lock. I taught you double leg. I taught you snap down. I taught you underhook. Here's all the defenses afterwards. But how do you know to defend them when you haven't even understood what these moves do? So I think it's not a wise choice to learn just defense. I totally disagree. I know there's defensive BJJ guys out there. I think it's good, but do they win matches or do they... Look, I got to work with Rafa Mendes once. I got to tell you, I trained with him twice actually, and it was a life-changing epiphany for me. Life-changing. Why? Because he doesn't do escapes. He doesn't do escapes. No, it doesn't like... only the basic classes, like at a certain level, they do escapes. The more advanced guys, they only do guard. And it's crazy because like for them, if you got mounted, if you got your back taken, you're pretty much lost. Like it's rare you're gonna escape the back and get back to win. It's not, I won't say it doesn't happen. Yes, it does happen, but in a 6-minute grappling match, it's gonna be hard to get your back taken, be 4 points behind, and come back to scramble for a win. Yes, it does happen, but not easily. Okay, because it's harder to escape the back than to control the back. So, I mean, you're in a low leverage position. Why do you spend so much time practicing low leverage positions? In my opinion, imagine, look, let's do a thought experiment. Imagine there's a guy who's putting 80% of his time escaping bad positions. He's trying to learn how to escape mount. He's trying to learn how to escape side control bottom. He's learning back control escape. He's learning leg lock escapes. He's learning armbar escape. The guy's bulletproof. He's really, really good at escapes. Okay, great. And then you have another guy. The other guy's just practicing sweeps from guard, submissions from guard, and passing the guard. That's all he's doing. That's all he's doing. Two guys. You have fighter A, he's heavy on escapes. Fighter B, he's heavy on guard, top and bottom. Both guys are spending the core of their time in two different subjects of jiu-jitsu. These two guys have a match. Who wins? Fighter B pulls guard, let's say. Fighter A is not a passer. He's going to get swept. When he gets swept, he's not a guard player. He's going to get passed. Okay, so the guy's up 5-0. He gets caught in side control. He escapes side control. Okay, he's a good side control escaper. Great. Then he gets his guard passed again. Then he gets his back taken. Yeah, he escapes again. So what? He didn't put any points on the board. You understand what I'm trying to say? Offense wins fights. After you have a good offense, you add a pristine defense, and now you have a game. Now you can reach the highest levels. I totally agree with learning defense. I don't want to underestimate the value of defense. However, I'm a believer in teaching people offense first and then defense, because then you understand what the dangers are. Coach, is there anything conceivably advantageous about doing that kind of training? Question mark. That's some gold, Josie. You're referring to the Tony Ferguson video I put with Goggins? Yes, absolutely. Guys, you want to do endurance work. I believe you got to do power, strength, and endurance. Okay, now endurance is a loose term. I'm using a loose term. There's cardiovascular endurance, muscular endurance. Those are two separate things. I'm going to lump them all in one. Okay, first you have to build power, strength. Okay, power and strength. Power is just strength over time, okay? An explosive, heavy movement, okay? I talk about this in the Strong and Stable Knees program. I talk about how strength is safety, how power is safety, how endurance is safety. If you're not strong, if you're not powerful, your knees are going to go. Over time, your knees are going to give, okay? You have to be strong. You have to be powerful. You have to be mobile. You have to have endurance, because imagine you're grappling or you're wrestling or you're boxing and you're tired. Your knees are unprotected now, because the more fatigued you are, the less you can protect your knee. Your muscles are fatigued. They cannot protect the stress on the knee. Whenever you put stress on the body, you don't want the stress on the skeleton per se. You want it on the skeleton, but not on the joints. You want it on the skeleton. You want it on the skeleton and the muscle, not on the joint. If you're in bad position, you're in bad posture. Now the muscle, the weight goes onto the muscle. If your muscle's not strong enough or too fatigued, then it goes on the joint. You understand? So I always want to maintain proper alignment. I always want to have a reserve of strength, a reserve of power, and a reserve of endurance. If I don't have a margin of safety, the stress now moves onto my joint directly, and that's when I can get hurt. Okay, so Goggins, I don't know if he's just doing endurance work. I don't think you should do endurance work without first building a good base in strength and power / power. I say that, look, you should have a minimum of, you should be able to deadlift or squat a minimum of 1.3 times your body weight. That's the minimum. I like 1.5, 1.7, I think is good. Okay. Do you have to go to 2 times your body weight? No, not necessarily. If you're a long-time athlete, you could reach 2 times your body weight, even more. Okay, so I know guys who squat more than 2 times their body weight. It's not necessary to go that high, but it would be good if you did it over time. It would be very good. Now, if you're a serious athlete, you can go even higher than that. However, after 1.3 times your body weight, it's time to start building endurance. I don't think you should build endurance unless you can deadlift or squat 1.3 times your body weight, which is not crazy strong. You're not a crazy good lifter. But that's the minimum maximal strength you should have. Minimum. If you don't have that level of strength, it's almost worthless to try to build endurance. What are you trying to endure? You're not strong. You want to build strength and then endure that strength. You want that strength to maintain during the fight. So I don't know if Goggins is organized like that, because all the videos I see, it's like endurance. If you're just doing endurance on endurance, over time, your strength levels dip. And then you get injured. And your performance, guys, will also dip. Believe me. If your maximum strength dips, mark my words, if your maximal strength dips too far, you will have a major loss in performance. Salam, coach. Would you ever train with Sneeko? He is a popular influencer and a new revert. I think you would have a very profound dialogue. That's from Black Sheep. Black Sheep, I know who Sneeko is. He is all over the internet. And yes, I've heard his conversion to Islam. He's very popular, very vocal about it. And yeah, of course I would train with him. Absolutely. If Sneeko, this is a personal invitation from me to you. If you ever want to come to the TriStar Gym in Montreal, we will train together. We will roll. We will grapple. We will box, whatever you like. I won't do to you what Strickland did to you. Absolutely not. But I saw that video as well. I would love to have him on my podcast. We'll chit chat. We'll hang out. We'll talk. Absolutely. It will be a great honor and a pleasure. What do you think about jump squats? That's from Patrick Pedersen. I like jump squats as long as it's maintained low impact. I'm a big believer in low impact plyometrics. Plyometrics are incredibly important to a martial artist. Incredibly. Coach, what is your opinion on the Fury-Usyk fight? Do you think Fury can win the rematch in December? That's from Khalid. I didn't watch the fight. I thought Fury was going to lose after his performance in Ngannou. I got to be honest, guys. I'm not interested in watching Fury fights. I probably won't watch the rematch. He looked flabby. I know he's looked flabby in the past, but, you know, I heard he's drinking and all that. I just don't think he's taking his fight career seriously. I'm not interested to see a guy who's not in shape fight personally. I know he's a great fighter. He's had great fights in the past. But I'm getting the sense from hearing him talk that, you know, he's kind of like not really training or anymore. I heard he's struggling with mental health. I wish him the best. I hope he bounces back. However, for some reason, especially after his fight against Ngannou, I thought Ngannou won that fight. I thought Ngannou fought beautifully. But I just didn't think that Fury's what he used to be. So I'm just not interested in watching him fight. Missed my super chat. That's from Professor. Let's see here. Salam, Coach. Please invite Jordan from Flowbility to your podcast. You would definitely have an amazing discussion. Try his app, Paradigm Shift. Thank you. Well, please tell him that I formally invite him on my podcast, Mr. Flowbility, Jordan from Flowbility. Please let me know. Message me if you can, and let's do a podcast together. I would love to. There's only one way Dustin can win. It's a lucky punch. That's from Islam Khujamberdiev. Well, he's more than a lucky punch. He's a phenomenal boxer. He's got great hands. He's got an incredible heart, guys. Dustin Poirier's got an incredible heart. He's got a will to be there. He's got a heart of a champion. I think he's incredible. He's a legend of the sport. However, I just think Islam is too much. I got to be honest. I just think Islam is too much. Zain Nakvi says, Coach, sitting at a rest stop by Knoxville, Tennessee, listening. Can't decide if I want to go to New Jersey and go see fam or back to Orlando and train next class. That's from Zain. Zain, if it's your mother in New Jersey, go see her. If it's not your mother, consider going to training. Coach, how do you get Riz? I don't know what Riz is. I hope that it's not a... what else we got here? Let's see. Did I miss a super chat? Watch Tony Ferguson podcast with Rampage Jackson. He talks about his thoughts on his last fight. Please analyze him. It's called Jackson. Let's do it right now. All right. Let's see. Is it on YouTube? I like how he spells his name. Jackson. Tony Ferguson. I want to hear his thoughts on his last fight. I remember seeing the fight. All right, here it is. Let's hear it. Guys, give me a thumbs up if you can hear.
Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm Barry DeGidio. We are back with another episode of the Jackson Podcast. I'm here with one of the greatest co-hosts to ever do it. 10 toes down, 25 pounds lighter, looking like a model, Rampage Jackson. And we have the most legendary guest in the history of the UFC. One of the greatest athlete competitors, one of the greatest to ever do it, hands down. Everybody knows what it is. No introduction needed, even though I just gave one. Tony Ferguson, ladies and gentlemen.
Guys, please give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear. Oh.
We heard that Joe Rogan,
damn it.
60 Minutes, and Oprah, everybody's been wanting to talk to you about if you're going to retire or not. You turned everybody down except for us.
I don't think I'm going to do podcasts. what did Oprah want with you? Somebody got her eyes set on you.
I have no idea. You know what? I had to turn it down.
Hey, be honest though. Real talk now. If Oprah, you married?
No, I'm married, man. I got 2 kids.
Oh, okay.
My first one, my second one.
All right. If you wasn't married and Oprah was trying to get with you, would you
Oh, God.
sugar mama that up? Be honest.
Skinny Oprah or big Oprah?
Oprah right now.
Nah, cool.
She worth a couple million.
I'm all right with that, man. One of those things I can find another one.
You for real?
Nah, for sure. I'm cool with mine.
Man,
Volume too low.
Oprah
Okay, when does he talk about his fight? I'm gonna put the volume on higher once I find out where he talks about his fight.
So he let you go through the training camp thinking you're going to fight him and everything, then pull it out later, or did he pull it out way before training camp?
So I've gotten hurt one time. I mean, he's gotten hurt probably like maybe 3. I got hurt twice.
Oh, okay.
One time
They're talking about the Khabib fight.
Which that's the one where it's like I had a full cadaver reconstruction. The dude, I was out here and I went to go get healed by this dude, and he shook my hand like this, like all condescending, you know. I learned that from somebody. He was like, "You're a very open person when you shake your hand like this. Very neutral, is cool, but when you're on top, you think you're better than me."
Yeah, that's true. That's true. A lot of actors do that. I'm not gonna say their name, but you shake their hand,
they try to do like that. But you know, when anybody does do it again, I go like this, and I finish it like that, so that way they understand. Like, yeah, it's a complete different. You tell everybody.
Yeah, I always just, what's up? Yeah, what's up?
Okay, guys, I can't sift through this and find out where he actually talks about the fight. So unfortunately, I'm not gonna pop that off. But I wish I could have. I'll listen to it. I'll try to save it and listen to it later, because my button pushing skills are not good enough to sift through this. What else we got here? Okay, let's see. Salam, coach. I'm completely against PEDs, but I sympathize with older guys who have started training MMA at a late age and take PEDs in order to speed up recovery. Your thoughts? That's from Shahid. Look, if you're not competing professionally and you take PEDs, I'll tell you, go talk to your doctor. Maybe it's better for your health. I had a doctor once tell me it's dangerous for cancer and it can hurt your liver. Look, I'm not a chemist. I would never recommend something that can hurt somebody's health. So personally, I would tell you, talk to your doctor. I think in some circumstances it can be healthy. I'm assuming, because I know so many people are on it who are not fighters. Like I have friends that take it and they swear by it. And they say, oh, it makes their life so much better. Personally, I have never touched it. Okay, I think I'm going to start doing it maybe when I'm 50. Because right now I'm currently 44 and I'm going strong. Like I'm training every day. I don't feel a wreck. I don't wake up all sore. Like I got guys my age, they tell me, oh, I can't train. When I wake up the next day, I'm sore. I'm absolutely a wreck. And I think it's just because you went too far too fast, of course. I train every day. I'm not sore. I'm never sore. I train all day long. I'm a little bit sore here and there, guys. I'm just not wrecked. I don't wake up wrecked. I believe in sustainability. I talk about this in Strong and Stable Knees. It's super important. It's really, really important. You should train every day and consistently. And you should not get injured. If you get injured, it's because you don't know what you're doing. Here's the truth, guys. 98%. I'm quoting Kelly Starrett here. He's a PhD in physiotherapy. He says 98% of injuries are preventable. I totally agree with him. 98% of injuries are preventable. 2% are not. I literally wrestle every day, most days, twice a day. And I box. And I do kickboxing and I do crazy scrambles. Today I rolled with a UFC fighter. Today I did 2 rounds with him. Like elite guys, like hardcore guys who commit their entire life to fighting. I glove up with them. I wrestle with them. I'm 44, guys. I'm 44 years old. I don't get injured. I don't get busted up. I feel the same like when I was 20. What's the secret? Proper training. A lot of trainers out there, all due respect, they don't have the proper education and background and experience. Okay, because I don't believe it's all in the book. I also don't believe it's all in the book. And I talk about that in Strong and Stable Back. I believe in copying tradition of gymnastics, the traditions of yoga, the traditions of karate, combat sports, Muay Thai. These guys have figured it out through trial and error, and you have exercise science. Now, exercise science hasn't figured it out. Exercise science is new. How old do you think exercise science is? Exercise science is like maybe 70 years old. And we don't have a lot of studies in exercise science. Guys, trust me, I go through the studies quite a bit. I'm always interested in new exercise science research. It's not a huge body of work. I mean, it's significant, yes, but it's not a huge body of work. There's a lot of money that goes involved to do these studies, and a lot of the studies suck because they take beginners. They pay beginners $20 a week to do this little program, and you don't know if they really did it or not. Like when you sift through the study, it's really like it's somebody who's doing it just to do a study and trying to get the results. Like it's not It's not concrete, It's not like how well controlled. I was just reading a study the other day on hypertrophy and tricep size, and I was like, yeah, they're doing it on beginners. If you exercise and you never exercised before, of course you're going to make these gains. How do you make gains on somebody who's well trained? That's the real secret. That's the real question. Coach, could you read my Mike Tyson prediction? That's some shiz. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I missed a few super chats. Guys, don't forget, I'm always doing a mix of super chats and non-super chats. Coach, according to boxing experts, Iron Mike Tyson still has power, even at the age of 57, against a young 27 Jake Paul. Also, Mike will be Jake's heaviest opponent. Interesting, ? Can Mike do it? ? Goosebumps, shiz. Absolutely, he can do it. Guys, I guarantee you they got Mike on gear. I guarantee you. I know so much about Mike Tyson, guys. I'm not saying I have any inside information. I have zero inside information. I've just been following Mike Tyson. I've watched so many of his documentaries, his training. His last few fights, he was doing 30-second rounds at one point. He was in such bad shape. His knees were gone. He was relying on getting in there and landing a knockout blow. This is after he came out of prison. He went on a slide. He lost some fights. He was doing at one point, he only had 30 seconds of shadow boxing in him. He only had 30 seconds of pads in him. Like, he was in really bad shape. Before he fought Roy Jones, guys, I did my research. He was looking in bad shape, and all of a sudden, boom, he's shredded and ripped and muscular again. He's 100% on gear. I guarantee it. Absolutely. I think Jake Paul is probably also on gear. He refused a drug test when he was fighting Woodley. He refused the drug test, from what I remember. He trained at Big Bear. He had a guy in his crew. I'm forgetting the guy's name. The guy who got busted for... the guy who ratted all the track and fielders that were on drugs, so he saved his own skin. I'm forgetting the guy's name, but then he went into boxing. I think everybody's on gear, but that's just me. And Tyson is going to absolutely, I think, crush him, man. Tyson on gear is going to crush him. That's just my thoughts. Look, barring Mike's knees giving, like, let's say Mike throws a punch and his knees give out on him. That's possible. His back gives out on him. Possible. The guy's 57, guys. 57 that's old, man. Guys, that's really old. That's really, really old. But when you're on gear, takes all that away. Can a person be an MMA coach without any fighting experience, pro or amateur, but only training experience in high-level gym? That's from Professor Chaos. Professor, believe it or not, yes. Okay. I've seen it. Guys who get in the game and maybe not at the highest level, but like, for instance, like Craig Jackson's arguably the greatest MMA coach of all time. He doesn't have a pedigree in fighting at all. He did a little high school wrestling. He's just in the gym all the time, working with other coaches, picking up the lessons. Hold on a second. I just want to double check something. Angelo Dundee, okay, arguably the greatest boxing trainer of all time. He trained Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard as well. He trained multiple world champions. Also, never stepped in the ring. I just want to double check. He's never stepped in the ring. Okay, he's never. Let's see. Has he ever fought amateur? Angelo Dundee amateur career. Oops. Career. I don't think he's ever had an amateur career either. Let's see here. Cornerman, boxing trainer, Cornerman. Okay, career with Muhammad Ali. Other works. Sugar Ray Leonard. Robert no, this is for first. Reputation. Throughout his career, Dundee was widely respected as a decent, honorable man and in an often corrupt sport. Perhaps the greatest tribute to Dundee was paid by Howard Cosell, who said, "If I had a son who wanted to be a fighter and I could talk him out of it, the only man I would let him train, and I couldn't talk him out of it, the only man I would let him train him is Angelo Dundee." Okay. Retirement 2005. Death. Died. Okay, he never fought amateur either. Okay, so he's arguably the greatest boxing trainer of all time, Angelo Dundee. Sneeko, in my opinion, is a terrible person. Research his history. This guy associates himself with Nick Fuentes. Who the hell is Nick Fuentes? Let's see. Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is a white nationalist live streamer who advocates pulling the Republican Party further far right end of the spectrum. Okay, I don't know who this guy is. Homophobic, anti-Semitic, Islamophobic views, misogynistic, supremacist. Well, listen, he reverted back to Islam, so we have to give him a clean slate. And I'll ask him, guys, listen, if I get him on his channel, I'm going to ask him, hey, Sneeko, are you with any white nationalist, misogynistic, anti-Semitic type characters? I'll ask him straight up on the channel. Let's see what he says. Hey, Coach, I injured my ACCC joint self-training with bad technique, throwing wild punches into heavy bag years ago. Clavicle further on one side. Help. That's from Zizou. Zizou's, you got to get strong and stable shoulders. Okay, just get strong and stable shoulders. It's all in there, okay? It's all in there. It's too complicated of a question. Coach, your thoughts on Justin Trudeau's boxing skills? That's from Tang. Tang, I got to tell you, Trudeau used to train in my gym. He used to box in my gym, okay? He never was a high-level boxer. He did it recreationally. He got in the ring, I think, once or twice. You know, I have to give him a nod of respect. He used to train with Sylvain in my gym, a guy from Interbox who was a very professional boxing coach. He trained many pros and world champions. And he was with a serious trainer in the gym, TriStar Gym. However, he was doing it recreationally. Okay, so he was just doing it to keep in shape. He's not a professional fighter. I've never seen any of his amateur fights, but I heard they're, not so professional. Hey, Coach, for us, is there a difference in criteria for belt promotions for a hobbyist compared to a competitive athlete? That's from Mr. Know-It-All. Yes, there is. Okay, so if you're a competitive athlete, generally instructors will hold you back a little longer because they want to keep you on the top of the food chain. It's very common. All gyms do it. If you're not competing and you're doing it as a hobbyist, we won't hold you at the highest level of standards, okay? Because, you're not going to represent the gym. So, but I still, personally, at TriStar, I hold all athletes to a high standard. I don't feel it's smart to give people purple belts and then they get crushed by visiting blue belts. I don't think it makes any sense. It's not good for the gym. It's not good for the athlete. He's feeling he's carrying a belt that he can't, live up to. I don't think it's fair for the athlete. Give me Ferguson for the BMF. It's winnable. I don't care. That's from Waymace. Listen, guys, I would love to train Tony Ferguson because I'm a big fan. I don't think our personalities would gel too well, but if he had if we had a chance to work together, I really think I could turn his career around. I really believe it because I don't think his problem is lack of fitness. I really, really don't think it's lack of fitness. I think his problem is really going back to the basics, finding his style again. He was very good with the element of surprise. He had this bizarre style that guys just couldn't understand, and they slowly figured him out. He needs to go back and revisit developing his element of surprise again. Judo or wrestling for the streets? That's from Patrick Peterson. I would prefer wrestling, okay, because there's no gi, right? So if I grab you by the shirt, it's going to rip, it's going to tear. I much rather have the ability to grab onto you. Unless you're wearing a huge, heavy jacket, then judo would make a big, I would have a huge advantage. But look, if I'm getting into a fight in the street, I'm taking my coat off. I wouldn't punch with a coat on, right? So people, oh yeah, you want to beef? Yeah, you're looking at me. Okay, people usually strip down before they start beefing. Coach, has a person at TriStar at one belt level ever stepped down to a lower belt because they felt they had to? That's from Parvis. Yes. And, just today somebody asked me, hey, can I go from blue belt to white belt? And I was like, no, you're definitely a blue belt. He came from another school. I'm sure he's listening to this podcast right now. He's a visitor from out of town. And he's like, look, I feel like I want to give up my blue belt. I'm like, no, I don't think so. I've rolled the guy. Blue belt you fulfill the criteria, but purple belts often do that. They come to TriStar Gym. They want to hand in their purple belt. It's quite common, actually. We had a very popular gym in Montreal give out a lot of purple belts, give out a lot of belts, and a lot of those guys left after a while. They were sick of like getting promoted so quickly. We had a huge amount of them come to TriStar and like forfeit their belts. So that's why I don't think it's a positive thing for the entire club. I think it's a short-sighted money grab by the instructors. You know, they want to keep the athlete, they want to keep the grapplers excited and motivated to come to class, because if you come to class, you're going to get promoted. But at the end of the day, you're giving the guy a belt he doesn't feel he deserves. It's awkward. He has to roll. He's getting beat by the lower belts. It's embarrassing, you know. So it's just not, it's not wise. Coach, which is better for losing belly fat, sprinting or zone 2 cardio? That's from Khalid. Look, when it comes to getting lean, in my opinion, muscle is number one. Okay, so sprinting. I will tell you sprinting. Now, there's a lot of people out there who are going to tell you, no, zone 2 cardio is better because you're burning fat right now. Okay, you're right. If you go into zone 2 cardio, about 65 to 70% of your heart rate, maximum heart rate, your body doesn't burn glycogen. It goes directly into fat storage. Now, okay, how long are you going to do that for? You're going to do it for 45 minutes? Okay, you're going to do it for 45 minutes, an hour. But how often are you going to do that? It's so boring to be on a treadmill or an air bike and just like zipping along at 65. It's really mind-numbingly boring. Okay, now, yeah, you will get leaner. However, if you do sprints, okay, it's done in a few minutes. It's done in a few minutes, and you're going to add muscle to your frame. So let's say athlete A does sprints and athlete B does long running. The guy who's doing long running over time is going to lose muscle. So over time, he's got to run a little longer to stay that lean. He's puncturing a hole in the boat, because over time, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you do long distance running, you raise your cortisol. Cortisol suppresses testosterone. Long distance runners, some of them have been tested to have such low testosterone, it's equal to that of a castrated man. Okay, I'm going to say that again. These ultra marathon runners, when they tested their testosterone, they had the same level as castrated men. You know, I asked GSP the other day because one of my students was telling me, I'm doing long runs. And I called GSP over and I'm like, George, come over here. And I asked him, George, what's healthier? Running a marathon or smoking a cigarette? He's like, smoking a cigarette is better for your health. I said, I agree. It's healthier to smoke a cigarette than to run a marathon. In my opinion, long-term running marathon is probably worse for your health. Knees, back, ankles, hips. Now, okay, I'm saying that, guys, I'm not being literal here, okay? Don't smoke. Smoking is bad for you. Don't smoke, okay? We're being funny here, okay? You got to see long distance running as bad for you. It's bad for you. Interval training and a little bit of long distance. Guys, in strong and stable running, I talk about this. I say, yes, I do long runs. Sometimes I do a jog, but that's when I'm mentally like, I want to take an active rest. I'm tired of being in the gym. I don't feel like I have it in me to do sprints. I'm a recovering phase. Okay, let me go for a long little run, listen to a podcast, because I give workouts in strong and stable. It comes with a PDF, okay? It comes with a PDF, and I give you workouts, shuttle workouts, sprint workouts, 400-meter workouts, 200-meter workouts, like how to do your workouts, okay? And then I say, guys, okay, here's the aerobic workouts. Go out, run till you get bored. Put on your favorite podcast, put on your playlist, and go run for a light jog. Run 65 to 70% of your max, and just enjoy the view, enjoy the run. I do it once in a blue moon. I don't do it often. I don't need it. Why? The most important thing about getting lean, is diet. That's it. Number one. 2 is putting on muscle. Muscle burns calories 24 hours a day. 1 pound of muscle burns, listen to this, okay? 1 pound of muscle burns 24 calories in a 24-hour period. If I add 10 pounds of muscle, I'm burning 240 calories more a day. 1 pound of fat burns 3 calories in 24-hour period. Fat doesn't burn calories. Now, if I run all day long and I burn fat, okay, I'm a little bit leaner. That's good. But now I chewed up a little muscle. Long distance running increases cortisol. That cortisol suppresses testosterone. Over time, I'm going to get skinny and scrawny. I'll be lean, but I'll be scrawny. The guy who's eating right and doing sprints, he's going to get muscular. He's going to burn more fat long term. Why? He's giving his body a slight caloric deficit, and he's increasing muscle. Muscle is going to speed up his metabolism. Ultimately, the people who restrict calories and run long and slow are going to get leaner in the short term. In the long term, they're going to get fat. Why? Well, their ankle is going to start acting up. Their hip is going to start acting up because they're doing thousands and thousands of steps. It's a overuse injury. So you get a sore knee, you get a sore back. Now you're like, oh, I got to take a break from running. Okay, take a break from running. Now what? Well, your metabolism is slower than it was before. Why? You lost muscle also. You lost a few pounds of muscle. So now you're going through your daily routine. You're eating your breakfast, you're eating your lunch, and you're like, hey, wait a second, I'm putting a lot of fat around my belly. Yeah, well, you're a little less muscular than you were a few months ago. So your metabolism's a little bit slower. And you're not running what you used to be, but you have this habit of eating a certain amount of calories, It's a habitual thing. Now you got to limit your calories if you want to keep burning fat. It's a downward spiral, guys. Lift weights, do sprints, get jacked, eat right, use HIIT, guys. High intensity interval training, HIIT, high intensity interval training. It's far superior. However, you have to tune in your diet, guys. It's very important. The diet is it's more important than lifting weights. Diet is more important than lifting weights. I highly recommend Fasting for Fitness. It's a book on jiu-jitsu-club.com. Put in level up 50 off, the promo code on the bottom of your screen. Get 50% off anything on jiu-jitsu-club.com. I guarantee you it works. Intermittent fasting works. Okay, guys, this is my dinner. Look, I just trained. I trained this morning. I trained tonight. I just finished training. This is my dinner. I had breakfast, a lunch, a little small light dinner before going training. I stopped eating at 6. Practice was at 6:45. Now I'm going to drink probably the vast majority of this water bottle here. And that's it. I go to bed. Wake up tomorrow, a little lighter and on track to, my goals. Coach, what about Goggins? Coach, what about Goggins, bro? Does 100-mile races and dude is jacked. That's from Larry Bird. Yes, guys, but look, either it's genetic or he's on gear. Now, is it a mind blow that he might be on gear? I don't think it is. A lot of people are on gear. So, look, do me a favor. Let's look at a picture of marathon runners, okay? Let's put elite marathon runners. Okay, I'm going to try to put this on the screen. All right, let's look at some marathon runners, okay? Let's look at some marathon runners. Let's look at their body shape, okay? Man, these guys are skinny. It's crazy how skinny they are. All right, let's look at these elite marathon runners. Look, I don't know how to push all these buttons, guys. Do me a favor, okay? Google pictures of elite marathon runners, 100K marathon runners. They're skinny, they're scrawny. Yes, they're going to have big calves, but that's pretty much it. They're scrawny. Then Google 100-meter champion, 200-meter champion, 400-meter champion, 800. They're jacked. They're muscular. Which one of those two athletes do you think would do better in MMA? For sure, the sprinters. Guarantee you. Sprint, guys. I'm telling you, it's way less time. It's way less injury. You won't get hurt. If you sprint correctly, make sure to get strong and stable running, proper running mechanics. Very important. If you don't run correctly, you're going to get injured for sure. But high volume running, guaranteed you're going to injure yourself over time. Guaranteed. I have a student of mine. He's a surgeon. He's one of the top orthopedic surgeons in the country. Top. I asked him, which athletes get injured the most? He told me runners, point blank. He's like, runners by far. Ankle, knee, back. Ankle, knee, hip, back. I have one of the trainers at the gym. He was an avid runner, like swears about running, long distance runs. He's a trainer. I used to tell him, I don't like long distance. I like short and sweet and explosive. And me and GSP were both very much of that school of thought. And he was like, no, I'm a runner, long runs. He fought professionally, long runs. He was always preaching long runs. He had both hips replaced. He had both hips replaced. He doesn't run no more. Guys, always ask yourself when a new fad comes into the... Don't get me wrong. I know some people out there run for 20 years. I get it, okay? Some people are survive the beating. Like, long distance running gives your body such a beating. A few will survive it and do it for their whole life. Yes, I agree. But a lot will get injured by the wayside. A lot. Okay, so in my opinion, short and sweet, not too much volume. Your body's not meant to take that much volume, not that much beating on the joints. And it's safer. I personally believe that sprinting is safer and better in every which way. Okay, we did that one. Dr. Peter Ataya is adamant of a mix of zone 2 and zone 3 are necessary for optimal cardiovascular health, which is the number one sign for good longevity. That's from YTB. Look, if he's a cardiologist, he's an expert in that, I will tip my hat to him. I'll defer to the expert. Personally, I think I don't like to do lower zone cardios because I get bored. I just can't I can't stay on a treadmill for 40 minutes. I'll lose my mind. I like to grapple. I like to box because when I'm doing martial arts, I'm enjoying myself. I'm not looking at the clock. I'm having fun doing grappling. An hour passes like this, guys, like this. So I can play basketball. I'm not a good basketball player, but I'll play with my kids and my nephews and all that. And we have fun. I think it's good cardio. I'm probably in this zone where it's aerobic, but I'm doing it for fun. Can I go and run around my block for an hour and a half? No, it's too boring, guys. It's too boring. I like to do my sport. And then after that, I hit the weights or intervals for 20 minutes. I got 20 minutes of conditioning in me. Running at a slow pace for 20 minutes ain't going to do much. Okay, so I hit the weights hard, 10, 15 minutes. I'll do a sled workout, air bike workout, kettlebell workout, barbell. I love it all. But I got 20 minutes of fitness in me, 15 minutes of fitness in me after I do my martial arts. Okay, now sometimes I'll do it more. Sometimes I'll do a 45-minute interval session. Yes, okay. I do those things sometimes. When I'm feeling motivated, I'll do all sorts of crazy workouts. However, I can't run on a treadmill. I can't just jog. I get bored. I don't get tired, guys. I believe, honestly, I can run a marathon. I know people are going to scoff at me. Oh, coach, you're crazy. You have to train for a marathon. I can run a marathon. I know I can. I will just get bored. One time we were on a family vacation. Okay, we were in like a camping place, like up north, and we had this huge bike trail. Huge. It was 17 kilometers. Now, one of our tires popped and we were missing a bike. So we're like 15, 20 family members. We were missing one bike. We had kids, we had moms, we had dads. Everybody's has a bike except one of us. I gave my bike to a family member and I said, guys, I'm going to jog the whole thing. Now, it was 70 kilometers with hills, and I'm telling you, it was tough. It was a tough 17 kilometers. Guys, I did it no sweat. Why did I do it? Because I was having fun. I was with my kids, my wife, my family. We were talking. I ran the whole way. Was I tired? No. I did 17 kilometers. I think a marathon is like 40, 50 kilometers. How much is a marathon? Hold on a second. A standard marathon is 26 miles. Okay, 26 miles. How many kilometers is that? 42 is it? Official marathon distance, 26.2 miles, 42 kilometers. Okay, so I did about half. Close to half. I'm sure I could have done another lap. I could have done it. Now look, was it challenging? Yeah, it's challenging. Mentally challenging. I'm tired mentally. I'm bored. That's what it is. If you told me, Coach, we'll give you $1 million. I'll give you $1 million if you do a marathon. I'll do that marathon with a smile. I won't be bored. I'll be happy. I'm like, the whole way I'm going to be thinking, what am I going to do with this $1 million? I'm not saying I would win the marathon. I'm not a fast runner. I'm not saying I'll put the pace on the marathon runners. No, they would leave me. I'll be dust in the wind. They would kick my ass in terms of time, but I will finish. I will if I have the incentive to finish. If I feel like it's worth doing, I would do it. I feel I would get bored. I would run a few kilometers. Thanks, guys. Have a drink and leave. I would be bored. I find running boring. I also think long-term, people will get bored of it. At first, you're going to get pumped. You're going to buy a treadmill. You're going to get excited about it. You're like, I'm going to watch movies when I run. I'm going to think about it. After a while, I feel it gets boring. It's just you're running on a treadmill. You're running outside. Some people can do it. Some people get in a meditative state. If you're one of those people, go for it. Just be careful of your running mechanics. Make sure you don't get injured. Over time, you're putting millions and millions of steps on your knees, hips, and back. Shiz says, it's still impressive to know that even though Islam is a well-rounded fighter, better striker than Khabib, but Khabib is still the best grappler and guaranteed to win. No, maybe possibly chance. It's always domination. GOAT, 29-0. Yes, Khabib is 29-0, my friend. He is the GOAT. Well, GOAT of the lightweight division for sure. Coach, do Christians go to heaven? ? I'm unfamiliar with the Quran and new to the Bible. I spent most of my life mocking religion, for which I am ashamed. That's from YT. Look, in Islam, it's a very touchy subject. Look, here's the thing, okay? In Islam, there's verses that say that pious Jews and Christians and I believe it's Sumerians, I can't remember the third, who are pious, they have nothing to fear. They have nothing to fear. They're good people. They have nothing to fear. And then you have another verse in the Quran that's going to say there's only one path to God, okay, which is Islam. Now, this is a complex topic and there's difference of opinion. Let's say, for instance, you hear all about God. The message gets to you and you're of sound mind and body. And you reject the message. Why? Because of your pride, because of your allegiance to someone else, your allegiance to your people, your country, your race, you're turning the blind eye to truth. If that's the case, it's very bad. Because you put something else above God. Okay, don't forget the story of Abraham. Abraham alayhi salam, he's told, slaughter your son. His favorite son, the son he thought he could never have because his wife was barren, he takes. He never thought he would have a son. His wife is barren. Then he has a son. He's an old man. He has a son. The thing that is most precious in life, sacrifice it to God. And of course, he was willing to do it. So the story tells us, look, don't put anything above God. Now, if you put anything above God, in my opinion, it's a disaster for you. However, if to you, from your faculties, you think this is correct and you're being honest, because at the end of the day, it's being honest. From your level of logic, from your level of understanding, from the message of how you heard it, it would make sense that you didn't, let's say I'm assuming you're getting it wrong. Okay, I'm assuming you got it wrong, but your intention was to get it right. And you put nothing above God, I don't think you have anything to fear. Because here's the thing, those are your faculties. God gave you those faculties. God gave you that representation of whatever truth it was. I don't think you have anything to fear. How could it be that you have anything to fear? Those are your honest, and your intention was honest. At the end of the day, it comes down to intention. Now, some Muslims are going to jump on me on this. They're going to be like, oh, well, here's the thing. There's authentic hadith that say a man tells his children, after I die, cremate me. And then on the day of resurrection, we're told that God asks him, why did you have your children cremate you? And he says, because I feared meeting you. Like, I had a fear of God. He was so scared, feared of God. He had such a respect for God. You understand? He had such a reverence for God that he was like, I can't meet God. God, it's too big of a moment for me. I don't want to meet God. Cremate me. Now, to say that God can't resurrect you because you got cremated is, in Islam, it's kufr. It's like you're a defector. If you're a Muslim and you say that, you've defected. Because you're denying the omnipotence of God, obviously. But this man, in this hadith, we're told, okay, God sends him to paradise. He forgives all his sins. Why? Because he had such a reverence for God. Now, it's kufr, it's blasphemy to say that God can't resurrect me. I'm gonna out-trick God. I'm gonna outsmart God. Okay, but in his faculties, his level of understanding, how he saw the reality, his logic, his intention was good. Okay, so at the end, works are important, intentions more important. In the end, if somebody's genuine and honest and puts nothing above God, I don't think he has anything to fear. But this has to be genuine, though, extremely genuine. And he has to be a person who's studied and searched. I think like a lot of people are very interested in the Kardashians, social media, all these things. They don't care about what's important in life. And I think we all go through a phase in our life where we start thinking really deeply. Like, not early on in life, when you're earlier in your life, you're so enamored with your body, you're discovering your body. Then your place in society. You know, where do I stand in society? And then, okay, you want to find something more stable in life. You start getting interested in business because you want to sustain your life. And then also you realize, hey, I'm getting closer to mortality. And then people switch. The guys who used to scoff at philosophy, logic, religion, they used to scoff at it. Now they're starting to tremble. They're starting to realize, wait a second, what's the whole point of all this? Hold on a second. I went through all these phases, and now I'm seeing, hey, look, the grave is coming real quick. And they have a mind shift. And I've seen it, guys. I'm telling you, I've had famous rich people reach out to me. They want to have private talks just because they're getting to the point in their life. And I'm telling you, I do it in total confidentiality with them. I would never mention their names, but people you wouldn't believe, like, they're fascinated now. They wanna ask the big questions, and they want to do it privately. Even people who are millionaires, they have boats, airplanes, private jets. Even that, they're like, wait a second, none of this can comfort me. I still have this thing inside me. None of this comforts me. Every human being goes through this in their life. I would say the vast majority of human beings. Guys, I'm going to end the poll after 1,285 votes. My boy, Dustin Poirier, gets only 21% of the vote. 79% for Islam Makhachev, the shortest and quickest pre-fight analysis ever done on this channel. Hi, dear coach. Do you think deadlift is worth doing or better avoid because of the risk of injury? That's from Jonathan Weisman. No, if you don't deadlift, you'll get injured, okay? You have to know how to deadlift, guys. Deadlifting is one of the most important tools for keeping your back healthy. Get strong and stable back. I'm not going to go through it now. I'm grandfathering that question. Put your promo code in. It's at the bottom of your screen. Level up 50 off. Get strong and stable back for life. 80% of the population has back pain. Guys, eliminate back pain. I promise you. You'll build a strong and stable back for life, and you will eliminate back pain. Make sure to get strong and stable for life. Strong and stable back for life. Hard to go against the Dagestani camp, pure discipline. That's from Peter Alexander. Believe me, I've trained with them. You are 100% correct. Motive Dose says, I missed the super chat. Let's see. I recently dislocated my shoulder. It's possible full recovery? Yes, absolutely. Okay, guys, I can't say it enough. I'm not going to say it again and again. Get strong and stable shoulders for life, guys. Please go to Jiu-Jitsu Club and get it. Coach, ask a $10 question you missed. That's from Wild Weldon. Ryan. Let's see, Ryan. Where's my boy Ryan? Ryan Welding says, what's your opinion on O'Malley being an underdog in his recent fights? He has been taken down but never dominated on the ground. I know you are associated with some of his opponents. I know. I've never trained any of his opponents. So who took down Sean O'Malley? Hold on. Guys, I got to be honest. The Petr Yan fight, I thought Petr Yan won. Forgive me if you disagree. Let's see. Sugar Shane fought 18-1. 10 wins in UFC. He has 1 loss against Marlon Vera. Yeah, that's right. When he got injured, he got his leg injured. He beat Marlon Vera recently. One of the best performances, I think, of his career. Brilliant performance. He beat Aljamain Sterling with a knockout. He beat Petr Yan. I thought Petr Yan had won that fight. Rolian Paiva, he won with KO in the first round. Who else took him down? I don't think anybody else took him down. Eddie Wineland, he knocked out. No, I don't think he's been taken down. I can't remember anybody taking him down other than Petr Yan. Okay, what else we got here? How important is visualization for martial arts? That's from Tomcat. I believe very important. Extremely important. Okay, so I'm a big believer in visualization. Coach, how much time do you usually train someone before their first amateur fight? That's from Tartu. I would say at least 6 months. Minimum. That's the minimum, okay? I did 20K last week and was hard on the knees. That's from Barnum Castillo. Especially if you're a heavier person, okay? If you're like 180 and up, you shouldn't do long distance running. You're going to damage your knees, in my opinion, unless your technique is flawless. Even then, you're going to create so much inflammation in your body. Guys, when you raise cortisol, you don't only lower testosterone. Well, you get so much cortisol because there's so much inflammation. Running creates so much inflammation in the body that the body increases cortisol to fight that inflammation. Like, so if you do a lot of long distance running, then you go grapple, you're going to pop your knee, you're going to pop your hip because there's so much inflammation. Goggins also does a ton of resistance training. That's from YTB. Okay, I'm sure he does if he's so muscular. I'm not very familiar with his training regimen, okay, because I'm not familiar, but the guy's in great shape. I can tell you, like, the guy's in phenomenal shape. Does he use gear? I don't know if people ask him. Does he talk about it? Is he open about it? Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's completely natural. Maybe he's just a genetic freak. And maybe he does a lot of resistance training because at his age, it's not easy to keep muscle on. So whatever he's doing, it works, or he's on gear, you know. Slam Coach, what's your prediction on Bilal versus Leon? If Bilal wins, do you think Islam is going to challenge Bilal to a double champ? That's from Talal Ghazi. I like Bilal's chances. I want to go and rewatch their videos. I haven't done my analysis yet. I will do it. We will have it on this channel, I'm sure. That's going to be a very tough fight to call. But I think it's going to be very competitive. I think Islam Makhachev might go up to fight whoever wins that fight. Coach, thoughts on Bronx Martial Arts Academy run by Doug Polinkovic to train for BJJ and Muay Thai? Well, I'm not familiar who that is, so you're going to have to forgive me. I'm not sure who that is. Guys, don't forget, I'm always doing a super chat and non-super chat. Marathon is 42. Yes, that's correct. Thoughts on cupping therapy? That's from cupping therapy. Is it worth it? That's from Hassan Haytham. I never really got into it. Okay, so I can't tell you I've tried it. You guys that have to try it, let me know. I just know it's popular with the fighters. I personally haven't tried it. I had once somebody sent me this automatic cupper. It was actually pretty cool. I thought it was all right. I think if you like it, it's cool. Coach, where are you from in Lebanon? That's from Soulful Breaks. My father's from Beirut. Sir, I want to train with you to become a fighter, but I don't have any money. I would rather you tell me, sir, please help. Well, I can't just tell you how to be a fighter. And the memberships aren't so expensive. Okay, so we keep the prices very, very reasonable. We give 3 classes a day. It's crazy. The TriStar gym is packed. If you really wanted to train martial arts, you could. Okay, if you really put your heart and soul into it, you could find the money. It's not that expensive to do martial arts. It's not that expensive. Any thoughts on Jordan Peterson's talks about the Old Testament? ? That's from Toby Tom. Guys, I got to say, I put a big X on Jordan Peterson. I just heard him say something else really, really stupid in the media. I think the guy's making a complete ass of himself. He recently said that, well, you know, the Palestinian people, they weren't doing much with the land. And now, you know, the Zionists come in, the Israelis come in, and look how they built so much. Hold on a second. Are you saying that if the Palestinians didn't build high skyscrapers and they didn't import sophisticated technology, that it's okay now to replace them with another people? Why don't you just go full Mein Kampf on us? Why don't you just bring out Adolf Hitler? Why don't you start quoting Adolf Hitler? Are you going to go full Nazi Germany on us? Like, what an insane talking point. I can't believe a psychologist would be so stupid to say that, hey, you can replace one race with another as long as the new race is superior technologically or architecturally. What an insane talking point. Guys, I can go in your home and take your home from you if I can renovate it and make it better and make it more sophisticated, more technologically advanced. What an absurd, stupid thing. The man signed with The Wire, which is owned by Ben Shapiro and the crew. So now he's giving all their talking points, and he's saying the dumbest, most ridiculous, absurd things. Guys, the Germans thought they were the supreme race. They thought they had the right. They had the right to struggle and spread their genetics and take over the world and kill whoever's non-German. Like, what an insane psychopathic take. Are we really talking like this? This guy is bought and paid for. He's no better than a prostitute. He's a prostitute of the microphone. He's an intellectual prostitute. He's giving himself up for money because he can't be that stupid. He must be getting paid millions to say something so stupid and insane that, oh, they didn't do much with the land. What are you talking about? The Zionist project is funded by the West. The only, guys, 60% of Israelis are living off the state. 60%, that's huge. They have full healthcare, full education, full everything. In America, they don't have it. You know why they don't have it? Because America sends them billions. You know why America sends them billions? Because in my opinion, Israel is just a military base. It's an American military base. They do the dirty work to keep the Arab world separated. Don't let the Arabs unite. And if the Arab world unites, guys, before America was popular, a great empire, Ottoman Empire was very strong, very, very strong. It was the most powerful empire. Once upon a time, the Ottoman Empire was the most powerful empire in the world. They want to keep the Arab world separated. That's why they back and promote Israel. That's the sole reason. Okay, now there are other reasons why the evangelicals think it's going to bring back Jesus Christ. If the Jews are in Israel, Jesus Christ is going to come back sooner. They want to convert the Jews to Christianity, so Jesus is going to come. Second coming, guys, that's a whole theological discussion for another day. But there is a very strong push from the evangelical community, and they don't hide it. They're open about it. So there's military incentives. They want to keep the Arabs in check. They want to keep that oil cheap. And they send a lot of money to Israel. And to say that one race can take over another, well, now we're going to have to start changing the whole world map. Every time one race sees itself as better, they're going to justify invasion and taking people's homes. What an absurdity. Guys, let me just tell you something. Okay? Don't take it from me. Don't take it from Jordan Peterson. Go to the entire international community. Go to every international body around the world. They all condemn what's going on. Okay, there's a resolution called 194. Resolution 194. Look it up. It says, look, the Palestinians were illegally removed from their land. Their homes were repossessed. It's completely illegal. They have the right to return legally. It's completely illegal. And they have the right to restitution if they refuse to return. If they don't want to come back because they live their life somewhere else, Israel has to pay them restitution. It's called Resolution 194. Look it up. By the way, guys, there is no, I don't want to get too much into it, but there's no other country in the world that has more resolutions against it than Israel. And I know everybody wants to give me talking points about why and why not. Guys, at the end of the day, they've committed more war crimes than Hamas. I'm not a Hamas supporter, and I'm not a Netanyahu supporter. I think both governments are right-wing extremist terrorists. If you ask me, Jews and Muslims who can live together very well, we are very compatible. It's just that right now, for the first time in human history, our interests are at odds. It has nothing to do with religion. It all has to do with interest, money, and territory. That's it. The Jews lived under Muslim rule for hundreds of years and peacefully. We've had some bad times, but mostly good times. And I'll tell you this, and I'll say it to anybody. I know a lot of people out there try to retort, but they're completely wrong. Completely wrong. The Jews were never more successful than under Islamic rule. Never. And I could bring you out the top scholarship, and they admit it. The Jews were never safer and never more successful than when they were under Muslim rule. There was never any forced conversion in Islam. Never. The Christians forced conversion of Jews. Guys, I can get into this history deeply, but you know what? I'm going to let one of the most famous rabbis in history tell you. How about that? Okay, give me 1 second here, guys. I'm not going to stay too long on this topic because we've talked about it so many times on this channel, and I know it's very politically charged. But I will show you guys the most famous rabbi in the world currently, Who is he, guys? Give me, who's the most famous rabbi in the world right now who's pro-Israel? Who is the most famous rabbi in the world right now, currently? Let me see if I can find this post here. Don't tell me I don't have it here. So many buttons. God. I got to go to button pushing school. Okay, here we go. One more time. I believe I've played this before in the past. Hold on a second. Oh, man. I can't find it for some reason. Okay, I know where it is. Hold on a second. Let me get out of here. I've played this for you guys before. I'm going to play it one more time, okay? I'm going to find it for you in less than 10 seconds. Count to 10. Watch this button pushing skill. Watch this button pushing skill. Okay, here it is. Rabbi Shmuley, guys. The most pro-Zionist, guys, the most pro-Zionist voice in the world today. The most pro-Zionist rabbi in the world. Listen to what he says.
The breakdown of communities, and for example, how do you regard Islam in the Muslim world nowadays? It's been very negatively stereotyped.
Well, look, I'm actually, interestingly enough, as an Orthodox Jew, a great champion of Islam. The fact is that the Jewish community has a real debt to the Islamic community, because when we were kicked out of Catholic Spain in 1492, when we were kicked out of Catholic Portugal, I think in 1503, it was the Muslims who took the Jews in. That's why there are Jewish communities in the Islamic world till this very day. The Islamic community, the Jewish community of Istanbul, dates from then. It was specifically countries not beyond the Ottoman Empire where Jews were tolerated and they were welcomed in. And they paid a jizya. There was a poll tax they paid, but they were never persecuted. There wasn't a Holocaust in the Islamic world. The fact is that Jews and Muslims have so much in common. And let me just tell you, there isn't a conflict outside of the Middle East. Very often I meet Muslims here in the United States, and my first expression to them is one of sympathy. Like, just no, people don't think that people, God forbid, look down at you. I honor you for celebrating your faith.
There it is. He told you. There was never a Holocaust. He could have went further. There was never a Holocaust in the Arab world. There was never forced conversion in the Arab world. Never. Okay. In Christianity, there was persecution, mass persecution. Okay, why did they persecute Jewish people? Well, because in their book, they believed that it killed Christ. They killed Christ. Now, don't forget, Martin Luther, the founder of the Protestant religion, wrote a lot about the Jewish people, and he was very negative. Okay, he said basically, put the kibosh on them all. Burn all their structures. Bury anything you can burn. Like, erase them. That's what he was saying. And he's a founder of the Protestant religion. Now, of course, Protestants don't think that way. They condemn that. They think it was wrong. But at the time, there was a time Christianity went through a dark period and was trying to eliminate everybody they can find that's Jewish. Okay, now, the Islamic world, we don't eliminate Jewish people. We don't. We allow them to live among us happily. We've had good times and bad times, but never anything this level. Nothing like we're seeing today. And today it's all politics. Don't let people tell you it's about religion. I'm telling you it's nothing to do with religion. It's all politics. Tomorrow, if our interests align, they're going to be best buds. Okay? Trust me. Well, not best buds, but they will get along. Okay? They will get along in terms of peace. There won't be bombings and killings. It's atrocious what's happening now. I hope everybody out there listening to this condemns the violence on both sides all the time. October 7th and what happened before October 7th and what happened after October 7th. Breaking of international law should be forbidden by every single Jew and Muslim out there. Every single human being out there should condemn anything that breaches international law. If we don't, then it's just going to become street fight. The whole world's going to get into a massive street fight we're going to call World War III. And believe me when I tell you, we're going to regret it. After World War II, the whole world said never again. We're never going to do this again. That's why they built all these international communities. The ICC, the ICJ, all these international communities have been built to never allow this to happen again. History is being forgotten. People are naive. People are forgetful of what happened in the past. We don't want another Holocaust. We don't want another genocide. We don't want another world war. We want to avoid it at all costs. Believe me when I tell you, once the war is at your doorstep, you're going to regret it. People should be adamant about condemning anybody or any group that violates international law. That includes Hamas, that includes Netanyahu. Believe me, before October 7th, there was many, and it's not me saying this, it's the ICC, the International Criminal Court, is telling you they've had numerous violations of international law, against international law, and that includes, of course, Hamas and Israel, both of them. We have to get rid of both of them. Both governments got to go. A new leadership is needed, and peace among neighbors. When you go on Joe Rogan, please steal man Gatsad's argument about Islam to completely crush him. Please watch his appearance on Joe Rogan 2158. He quotes the myth of Andalusian Paradise book. Listen, I'm not a big fan of Gatsad. Okay, he just hates. He's just filled with hate. He just hates Muslims. He just hates Muslims. Like, he wants to interpret the history of Islam in the worst light. He strawmans Islam so badly, guys. It's impossible to deny the golden age of Islam. It's impossible. There's a consensus among historians. He's not a historian. The man is not a historian. He's just so full of hate. He hates Muslims. He just despises us. And if I go on the channel, I will happily talk about any topic. And if Islamic Golden Age comes up, I'm very happy to bring it up. And absolutely. And I'll mention his name. Like, I'll probably ask Joe, hey, Joe, do you mind if I bring up Gatsad before the recording starts? If he tells me don't do it, I won't do it. If he tells me go for it, it's none of my business, and I'm happy to hear your side, I'll bombard him. But look, I have nothing against, obviously, Jewish people or any people, Christian, atheist, whatever. It's none of my business. If somebody wants to be whatever they want to be, that's their business. However, when you say something that's ahistorical, when you spread nonsense, I'm going to enjoy correcting you. I will correct you. And he's completely backwards on this. Completely. I'm going to quote you non-Muslim sources. It's an absurdity to deny the Golden Age. It's an absurdity. It's just dumb. It's so dumb that how can he explain just one fact? One fact. Maimonides. Look, there's a guy named Maimonides. He wrote the book on how to be Jewish. Being Jewish was never defined before Maimonides. Maimonides is the second Moshe. He's the second Moses. They call him the second Moses. You understand? Like, if you ask any Jew, who's the most important Jew after Moses? If that Jew doesn't say Maimonides, Rambam, then he doesn't know what he's talking about. That guy doesn't know anything about Judaism. He's not an expert in Judaism. Rambam is the most influential Jew in history. He literally wrote the books on how to be Jewish, what it means to be Jewish. He defined it. And he wrote in Arabic. He used Hebrew letters, but wrote in Arabic. He was raised in Arabic. Because he lived under the protection of Arabic rule. He was educated in Arabic schools. The golden age of Judaism was under the umbrella of the golden age of Islam. It's just such an absurd comment. I don't want to get into it now because we've talked about this in the past, but it's such an absurd comment. It's a byproduct of hatred. The man is just filled with so much hate for Arabs and Muslims. It's a sad sight. Muslims let the Jews back in Jerusalem. That's from A.R. Ibrahim. That's a historical fact. And not only that, some Jews thought Omar bin Khattab, radiallahu anhu, Omar was the Messiah. They thought he's the Messiah. Oh, the Messiah's come. He brought us back to Judaism. He's a monotheist. Think about how it was a minority opinion. They thought, hey, the Jews were exiled by Rome for 500 years. It was the Muslims that brought back the Jews. It was the Muslim, and we happily do it. Of course, we would do it again. For us, the Jews belong in Jerusalem. They belong in Jerusalem. Now, we don't want them taking our homes. That's no. Taking our territory. No, that we don't want. Nobody wants their homes being taken. But if the Jews were expelled tomorrow, the Muslims would bring them back. Because in our book, it says they belong there. They were given this land. We want them there. Now, it doesn't mean Arabs can't exist there. And of course, other peoples can live there, even non-Muslims. There was a time, listen very carefully. There was a time the Muslims and the Jews were one ummah. What's an ummah? An ummah is one family. The Prophet ﷺ, when he went to Medina, he migrated to Medina, and he was elected as the president. Okay, let's call it the president, the leader of Yathrib. Now is known as Medina. Okay, let's just call it Medina. It's simpler. The city of Medina elects Muhammad ﷺ as their leader. Under him is Jews, Christians, pagans, and Muslims. He writes the constitution of Medina. You guys can find it today. Okay, we have large parts of it that are authentic. It calls the entire body of people of Medina, the entire body, as one ummah. One ummah means one family. That means everybody has the same right. We're completely even. Everybody has to defend the city. We cannot make deals with foreign tribes and then against each other. We are one team, one and the same. We all have the same rights. We all have the same privileges, but we defend the city as one. Now, over time, there was breaches in the contract, but you could see that in Islam, we had a time, and in the future, when we took them under umbrella, there were laws where they can't take over. But those are not fundamental laws of Islam. Those can change over time. The dhimmi status later on was abolished. When the nations are stable, you can abolish the dhimmi status. Let me explain. Okay, when the Arabs expanded, they were the greatest empire in the history of mankind at the time, the biggest empire in the world, and none bigger at the time. Genghis Khan would soon come later on, and he would expand the empire even bigger. But at that time, there was never a bigger empire. The Muslims were only about 2% of that empire, a small sliver. So they imposed laws not to lose control, but those laws were temporary to maintain control and stability. After they had stability, those laws were relaxed and even abolished. Laws that you can't build higher structures than the Muslims. You can't, you have to pay the poll tax to make sure. Taxes to maintain the government, of course. Everybody pays tax, okay? Everybody, even the Muslims pay tax. But the tax and the Muslims is a religious tax. So you can't ask a non-Muslim to pay a religious tax. They're not part of your religion. You pay the poll tax, which is often smaller than the Muslim tax, okay? Often. These laws, as you have more stability in a society, you could relax the laws. When there's less stability, you have more stricter laws because you want to maintain stability. You don't want a coup, right? Nobody wants to take over and then have a coup done on them, okay? The more stability there is, the more freedom there is. So initially in Medina, there was a lot of stability. Okay, they were one ummah, and nobody can deny this in Islam. It's in the constitution of Medina. It's there. They're called one ummah. Fascinating history that 99% of people don't know. Okay, there was a time we were one nation together. Salam, coach. I want to train and learn from you on a spiritual and physical level. That's my dream. Can I stay at TriStar Dorms? ? I emailed but no reply. That's from Muhaymin. You must have emailed the wrong address. Let me TriStarDorms@gmail.com. I'm going to put it right now in the chat. If they don't answer you, call the TriStar Gym and ask to speak to Jeremy. It's impossible he doesn't answer you. He's actually on a fishing trip today. He checks in with me saying, guys, I'm out of touch for like 48 hours. So he's on a fishing trip leaving today. He doesn't have his phone, but he checks in with me all the time. He handles the dorms beautifully. Rewrite him a message. Maybe he went into the junk folder, but come train at the TriStar Gym and we will work out together, I'm sure. Do you consider 10th planet submission moves as basic? ? Do they work at top levels? ? That's from Mike Goodwin. Well, do you mean like rubber guard and stuff like that? I don't think we've seen it happen in international competition in a very, very long time. So I think like if you're learning guard, don't just start in rubber guard. Learn the basics. After the basics, see if rubber guard works for you. But I'm not a big proponent of rubber guard, even though I think some guys can make it really, really work. But you have to be a very special individual. Coach, can you lower the price at TriStar Gym because $210 is too much? That's from Violent Funny. Well, if you pay one shot or you do shorter payments, you get it for a lot cheaper. But if you're a student, also we give discounts. Check on TriStar Gym regularly. We have discounts quite often where you basically get it for a lot cheaper than that. So especially during the new year, we do that. Just check back in with us. I'm sure you will find a better deal. Just keep your eye out. Missed my super chat. Okay, guys, no more super chats, please. I'm going to have to cut this soon. It is already 12:39 p.m. Look at that. Crazy. Hello, Coach Zahabi. I love BJJ, but I also need to make money. Is the average BJJ gym profitable? Also, what do you think about CGI? That's Craig Jones Invitational. I'm really looking forward to watching it, and also ADCC. Guys, don't forget ADCC is the most legendary grappling tournament of all time. However, there is a rug pull here. Craig Jones is kind of rug pulling. He's paying the fighters more, which I'm happy for the fighters. Is an average gym profitable? No. The average BJJ gym is not profitable. In my opinion, it's just a job. You're barely scraping by, and most gyms don't make money. It's a back-breaking endeavor to juggle all those people. And at the end of the day, I think they barely get a salary. Most gyms, okay? Now, gyms like mine, okay, they're popular. They're very full. It's different. But most gyms, I would tell you, you're telling me the average gym, no, I don't think they make money. I think a lot of those guys have a full-time job, and at night they have a little room with some mats, and they make a gym, and it's a hobby, and they're loving it, and it's great. But does it make big bucks? No, it does not. Okay, guys, please, no more super chats. I'm going to try to finish up these super chats, and then we're going to finish up on a fun note. Okay, let's see. Coach, when is the promised cooking / barbecue stream? That's from Talal Ghazi. All right, it's time. I think I got to do a barbecue video soon. You're right. I did promise that a long, long time ago. You're a long-time listener. So I will make good on that. I'm going to try to do it this year, guys. I'm a barbecue freak. I love the barbecue. And I actually just broke my barbecue recently. I have an Oklahoma Joe barbecue. Longhorn. I absolutely love that barbecue. It's a stick burner. I cook with wood, so I love my barbecue. And the door flap broke. I ordered a new one. So when I get the new one in, I'm going to install it. And hopefully this summer, me and you guys are going to have a nice little cookout. I'm going to show you how to make the best steak. How to make a steak like a true pit master. What else do I cook for you guys? I'll cook maybe sausages, merguez sausages, maybe some chicken, duck. I love duck on the barbecue as well, smoked duck. Guys, it's all about that smoky flavor. Absolutely. My stomach is rumbling now. Oh, man, I wish I could have some barbecue right now. It's my absolute favorite food. When I make it, my family goes berserk. They love it, man. The whole family stampedes. I make lamb, giant chunks of lamb. It's really easy. It's not that hard to barbecue, guys, but it's fun. It's fun. There's a whole way of doing it. It's mad science, but it's simple. Like after about, let's say 20 cookouts, it gets pretty easy. But I've done hundreds of cooks, guys. Hundreds. I'm crazy about barbecue. Unholy Schmoly. That's from Sham the Realist. You're right. He is unholy Schmoly. That guy, I gotta tell you something about that rabbi. I've heard his debates online. He's the worst debater. He's just a smear tactic. He gives buzzwords. He tries to change topic. He tries to throw like 20 different points at a time. It's just horrible. It's just such an honest, slimy little. He gives just a slimy little weasel. He's just a slimy, disgusting little weasel. Honestly, he's trying to justify war crimes. He's trying to justify a genocide. He's trying to justify massacres. He's trying to justify all the evils that have been done by their government. All the evils, and it's unhideable. The whole world is waking up now. Even famous celebrities are popping up now. They're all starting to rebel now. Why? They can't take it anymore. Even though they might lose their job, they might not get a contract, you know. There's a lot of influence in various industries, and the truth of the matter is, people's jobs are on the line, their pay's on the line. It's getting too much. What just happened this week in Rafah is unacceptable. Tents burning, people being burned alive. We're at, I think now it's 40,000 plus dead. It's inhuman. It's racist. If white people were dying this much, nobody would accept this. The whole world would be furious. When the 7 aid workers died, the whole world went berserk. And I find it horrible. But why is it when all these people are dying, these children are dying, nobody's freaking out? Like, people are freaking out, but not as much as you think they would. There was literally in Rafah a beheaded baby. Literally in Rafah, a beheaded baby. A baby's head was blown off. A picture was taken. And Israeli soldiers posted it, boasting about it. Can you believe that? A child's head was blown off. I can't believe I'm saying those words. I never thought in my life I would say these words. And people were celebrating it. It's despicable. It's inhuman. It's filthy. It's disgusting. It's absurd. I just have no words for this cruelty. How could a human being so cruel? How could a human being have no empathy? I can't call somebody who does that a human being. I think they're no longer human beings. They're no longer human beings. They become animals. It's despicable. To boast about the death of a young child is despicable. It's despicable. It's insane. It's insane. And I hope the whole world wakes up. I don't think Israel is doing itself any favors with this campaign at all. The sentiment around the world is growing against Israel. Even the ICC is waging arrest warrants. The whole world is voting against Israel in the UN. The whole world, except they always get vetoed by the US. The US and Israel are becoming quickly the black sheep of the international community. The black sheep. In the future, historians will write nasty things. They will write nasty things about Hamas as well, guys. I totally agree. Guys, don't take me as a Hamas sympathizer. I sympathize with the Palestinian people. I sympathize with the Jewish people wanting security, yes. But I completely abhor the governments on both sides. I think they're both bad for their people. It's haram and illegal. So you argue it any which way you want. It's both haram and illegal. They're not helping their people at all. What else we got here, guys? Please, no more super chats for Rafah. Alaric, thank you. Guys, what happened in Rafah is inhuman. It'll never be forgotten. I hope you all go online and condemn it. This could never happen to any human beings anywhere around the world. People are being burned alive. It's a refugee camp. Guys, if we bomb refugee camps, if we attack refugee camps, there is no more humanity. They've done it before. They've bombed hospitals and they bombed the refugee camps in front of Wolf Blitzer. Wolf Blitzer was like, whoa, one Hamas agent, and they killed about 200 Palestinians, 1 to 200 Palestinians for one suspected Hamas agent. Even Wolf Blitzer, when he was told that live, he had a shock. He couldn't believe it. Wolf Blitzer is the most right-wing Zionist guy they have in America. He's on the payroll. He was repeating. He couldn't believe it. He's like, wait a second. You went ahead and bombed anyway? Like, this is not, he thought maybe it was a missile from a misfired missile or something. No. Yeah, we bombed it. A refugee camp, that's illegal. That it goes, it's insanely illegal. People just don't understand international law. That makes them terrorists. When you break international law, you're a terrorist. Insanity, guys. The world has gone insane. Please don't be part of it. Gad Sad is just a sad liar. That's from Noor. Well, look, he did. I remember one time somebody sent me a clip of Rogan fact-checking him. So he was bad-mouthing Islam like he always does. He has so much hate towards Islam. Like, I don't think he's ever done an episode where he didn't just like attack Islam. And I'll tell you something, it's bad because you know what? Imagine I went on Joe Rogan podcast and I was like just railing on Jews every time I went there. Everybody would be like, man, this guy's anti-Semitic. So how could this guy do that? You know, it's not right. You're throwing a blanket statement on all Jews. That's not right. It's insane that he can get away with that. And the thing is, people are desensitized to talking bad about Muslims. They're just completely desensitized. You can go and say anything bad about Muslims. Nobody cares. We care. The Muslims care. We don't take it easily. No. We're not going to sit back and let you beat us up. And because you know what happens? My Muslim wife goes out to the market, or my children go out to play in the yard with their friends. And then people find out that they're Muslims and badmouth them, curse them, yell at them. They think they have a right. Like recently, there was this incredibly gigantic fool. I got to play this, guys. I'm going to play this right now. Look, I'm going to show you guys what happens when Islamophobia spread. Okay, and it happens to, I don't believe in spreading anti-Semitism, racism, any ism that's negative towards a people. You're making a general blanket statement. But let me just show you guys. Let's see. Let me show you one of the biggest fools on the internet. Oh my God, here it is. Oh my God, I found it on the first try. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, look at this guy. Oh my God, this guy's a real piece of work. Hold on a second, gentlemen. Let me find him. Oh, guys, we're seconds away. This is going to be good. Okay, man shouts fucking Muslims. Oh boy. Man, I wish I can run into this guy in the street. Oh man. Oh, what a pleasure this would be. Oh man, I'd pay $100,000 to run into this guy in the street. Honestly, I would take $100,000 out of my bank account. I'm not joking. If I could somehow, some way run into this guy, oh man, what I would do to him. Guys, watch this guy, okay? How do I get it to you? Boom. Okay, watch this fool. He said dirty effing Muslims. Okay? He just ripped off the scarf off a woman's head, a hijab. That's the context I heard a report say. And now some girl came to her aid. She's filming the guy. She's saying, hey, this guy did this and that. And he's like, she's a dirty effing Muslim. That's what he says. Okay, let's see what else he says. The young black lady here is saying, you're the one putting hands on women. You're dirty. You're vile. And he says, she's anti-Semitic, talking about the girl he attacked. How do you know she's anti-Semitic? This guy just looks like he's drunk or he's like on a power trip. He basically just put his hands on a woman, and this girl is an eyewitness, and she's saying, you're dirty. You're vile. How dare you? The black girl's telling him, I'm trained as an MMA fighter. Like, don't step up to me. The man replies, I'm an IDF soldier. I'm an IDF soldier. Look at how tough he is. Look how he steps up to a woman. Look at this now. Oh, now there's a big, strong man stepping up to him. Look how he backs up. Look how the IDF soldier is backing up. It's not a woman and a child he's fighting. He's fighting a real man now. Let's go. Eye to eye, toe to toe. Let's see what happens. IDF soldier, huh? IDF soldier, huh? Let's just say the guy urinated himself, and that's the end of the video. The IDF soldier stepped back. He backed off completely. I'm an IDF soldier. I'm an IDF soldier. So what? You're an IDF soldier. So what? Guys, if anybody knows the way we can reach the security guard here or the black man in this video, please, if you could put me in contact with him, I'd like to send him a token of my appreciation. That's a real man. That's a real man. He sees a psychotic idiot stepping up to a woman. He steps in and he defends her. Bravo. I salute this young man here that stepped up to him and he pushed him. I love it. He put his hand on him and he pushed him. Get out of here. That's a top G. That's a real man. I totally salute this person in the video. Really, I wish I was there. But guys, if I was there, I can't even tell you what I would do. I can't even tell you what I would do. I can't even tell you what I would do. Coach, you missed 5 of my super chats. That's from Adam Rogers. That's impossible. I don't see any Adam Rogers super chats. Guys, you're killing me with the super chats. No super chats, please. If judo changed the rules back to old school rules where legs grabs are legal, does it immediately become superior to wrestling for street and sports? Bobby Blue, no. I'll tell you why. They stopped allowing leg grabs because wrestlers will go in and grab the legs and throw them on their backs. That's why they took out that rule. You're not allowed to grab a double leg anymore, basically, because it's really easy to double leg somebody with pants on. So I don't think it would make them, if they put that rule, I don't think, because they weren't good at double legs. The wrestlers would out double leg them very easily. When are you going to make a philosopher tier list? Look it up. I don't know what a philosopher tier list is, but I'll try to look it up. Coach, my mind become weak if I give only 7 out of 10 in workouts. Look, 7 out of 10 is a good day. You know, try to hit 8, 8.5. 8.5 is better. 8, 8.5 is good. 9 is good sometimes, you know, but 7 is good. 7 is respectable. Sometimes you're going to have a day where you're just going to hit 7. Thoughts on rock climbing as a once-a-week supplement training for BJJ? ? That's from Jonathan Wiseman. I think it could be good, but look, I'd rather you do like circuit training. I'd rather you do like more like barbell training. I think rock climbing is good if you enjoy it. Why not? I've done a little bit of rock climbing. I think it is good. It's very challenging, and I'm sure there are higher levels of rock climbing. It's very good for grip, but I wouldn't miss a day of jiu-jitsu to go rock climbing. If I was wanting to be world champion in jiu-jitsu, I don't think rock climbing would help. I would only rock climb when I'm like too burned out to go to the gym and I want something light to do that makes sense for jiu-jitsu. Rock climbing is a good substitute, but that be far and few between. I wouldn't do that every week. I wouldn't miss 1 week of jiu-jitsu every week. Think about it. That's 50 classes a year. That's a lot of jiu-jitsu lessons you're missing. Would fat fighters like Roy Hunt do better if very lean? That's from Adam Rogers. Yeah, maybe. I think so. I think cutting off the chub makes you a better athlete. Hey, coach, what do you think about pads for striking? I personally don't like them, but that is the bulk of my gym's classes. Any suggestions? Thanks. That's from Jimmy Earl. Look, pads are overrated. Pad holding is overrated. If you look at the best boxers of all time, they didn't do pads. Muhammad Ali didn't do pads. Find me a video of Muhammad Ali doing pads. You won't find it. That was the golden era of boxing. All these top boxers never did pads. I spoke to Freddie Roach about this at length. He trained with Eddie Fudge. He was telling me, no, we didn't do pads. Sometimes we hit the shield a bit, but we did shadow boxing, bag work, technique. Like, you know, they would teach us technique. We would shadow box it. We would hit the bag. We would spar. We would do our conditioning. That was it. And he goes, we were better fighters than the generation today. Pad work, Kenny Weldon claims he invented pads. Okay, he put gloves on backwards one day, and he started teaching one of his amateur fighters, because he's well known for training a lot of Golden Glove champions. And he was like, all of a sudden, everybody started doing it, and all of a sudden, pad work was invented. Kenny Weldon claims to have invented the pad work. If you look at the Cubans, they consistently breed champions, and they don't do pad work. It's all drills, sparring, bag work, and just conditioning. I think pad work is good if you have a lot of experience and you've done your sparring. Because the thing is, here's the thing. Pad work is a good substitute if the trainer holding the pads is really good. And he kind of makes a mock sparring. So me, when I do pads with my fighters, it's like we're sparring. But he's not really getting hit because I don't want to put wear and tear on his jaw, on his chin, on his nose, his ribs. He's an experienced fighter. He has too many miles on his body. We're going to recreate a sparring, but without him getting hit. That's what pads is all about. And also, sometimes we can make him drill a technique over and over again at a high pace, which is going to develop his conditioning. So we can use it as a conditioning tool and also as a mock sparring tool. But the holder has to really know what he's doing. That's the truth. If the guy's just holding like this, he's an amateur holder. Let's say sometimes I see boxing classes or kickboxing classes. There's 30 people in the gym. Okay, 15 people are holding pads for the other 15. And then they switch and they do and it's just like they're holding pads like this, you know, like they don't know what they're doing. I don't think it's the best. Now, I've trained with the Dutch kickboxers and they do pad work, but with like gloves. I like that. I find we can get a lot of drilling in there. Okay, so I have a video, a striking video where I teach that. I think that's very good because we can drill these techniques at a high speed without getting hurt. So let's say I do jab, jab, cross, left, high kick. Then you do jab, jab, cross, left, high kick. When you do your jab, jab, cross, left, high kick, I can work my defense. So I parry, shield, block the high kick, counter the high kick. I like those kind of drills because we're going back and forth. You're practicing your offense. I'm practicing my defense. And we're drilling. So I'm a big believer in drilling. But just pad work, I think it makes a lot of noise in the gym. People get pumped because they're hitting the pad. They feel good. They're going full power. I think it could be very therapeutic. People like the workout. They enjoy it. So in that sense, it's good. Will it make you a better fighter? Only if the pad holder is really, really good. Other than that, I really like the way the Dutch train. So they do striking drills. So you're getting your footwork. You're getting your movement. You're working your mechanics. But you're not taking the full brunt of the punch, and you're practicing your defense also at the same time. So I really like that style. The Dutch have a very, very smart system. Yep, Floyd did all pad work. That's from Ajay. Yes, he did a lot of pad work. You're right. He's part of the new breed of guys who do a lot of pad work. But I'll tell you something. If he did zero pad work, he would still been world champion. I think their style of pad work, guys, don't forget, I said pad work is good if you have an excellent pad holder. And he does have an excellent pad holder. He has an incredible pad holder, okay? But I still think he could have reached that level because Ali did it and other guys did it. That's what I'm saying. It's possible. It's more than possible. It's been done time and time again. Pads are good if the holder is excellent. And Floyd Mayweather had an excellent pad holder. Probably one of the greatest pad holders of all time. Why did Jon Jones leave TriStar? That's from P. Listen, he didn't leave TriStar. I was supposed to be... Look, when he fought Shogun, I was supposed to be in his corner, but I bowed out because George was asking me. George was getting ready for his fight, and he asked me not to go. So I had to tell John, look, George really needs me. I can't leave. So he put another coach in the corner, and that's when we kind of like lost touch, okay? Because before then, he was training with me, training with Greg. But because I bowed out of being in this corner for one of his fights, because I was too busy with George, and I understand George, you know, at that time, he was really relying on me to train him. And I felt that Jon Jones was going to breeze through that fight. He didn't need me there. George's fight, I can't remember which one it was, but it was a very difficult one upcoming. And I made the decision to support George. There was no negative blood. There was nothing negative at all. But after that, you know, other coaches stepped in. They're like, hey, you know, this guy's, he's not putting it as a priority. Or maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Maybe John felt, you know, I should have prioritized him. But at the end of the day, I was working with George more years. George needs me. He made a request. I honored that request. And I didn't think, to be honest with you, John needed me. That's the truth. You know, he's got other great trainers. He knows what he's doing. He's super talented. I don't think Shogun can stop him. Coach, how do you do the side choke? Starting from the side to the back, I keep having difficulty keeping the grip. That's from Cho. Cho, I'm a lover of side choke. I'm a side choke fool. I think it's better than rear naked choke. It's crazy. I know I just made a crazy statement. I'm still refining the side. Like I do this, literally, I score the side choke every single day. It's crazy. I just released a video on it. It's my second video on side choke. One day I'm going to come out with an instructional because I'm learning so much about side choke. It's nuts. Today I was rolling with a guy, a professional athlete, and he's so strong. This guy is so crazy strong. It's insane. He's very athletic. And I've tried to put him in a rear naked, and I'm telling you, he's so strong, he rips my grips apart. And I fight the grips, and I put the choke back on, and he's just so strong, he rips it apart. So I go to the side choke. When I go to the side choke, I get like a tap, like a feverish tap, like tap, 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 tap. I'm choked. It's like, dude, side choke is so crazy strong. It's insane. It's like you can get these super athletes to tap. Whereas if I wrap my arm around their entire neck, I can't get them to tap. That's how strong they are. They just get a hold of my wrist, and it's like, man, even like I got my arm under his neck. He's so strong. But side choke is like no mercy, man. They tap right away. I love it. I love moves like that you could do on a bigger, strong, trained opponent. That gets me like thinking. It gets me thinking, wait a second, like that's huge. You know, it's huge to tap a guy who's very strong, who's grabbing your grips, and he can't stop. That's massive. I think the the side choke is gonna make waves in jiu-jitsu. I think it's gonna make huge waves. And believe me, I'm drilling it every day. And eventually, down the line, when I have like 10,000 ways to get into it, I'm gonna make a video on side choke. Like I'm really excited about side choke. Can you learn fighting from just watching fights? That's from Water. No. You got to get on the mats. You got to get in the ring. You got to hit the bag. You got to do some training. Okay. Now you can learn the theories. You know, if you're talking about being a coach, like if you shadow a coach for many years, you grew up in the gym, maybe you never laced up the gloves, but you understand like what they teach, how the routine works. You could develop fighters. Coach, what are your thoughts on 39-year-old Chechen boxer Arthur Beteviev, 20-0, 20 knockouts? That's from Essence. I think he's one of the best fighters of all time. He's a legend, living legend. And I've met him. I've had dinner with him. He's a beast. Man. He's a killer. He's one of the best boxers of all time, in my opinion. If Mike Tyson never went to prison and stayed disciplined, is it possible Mike Tyson dominated all opponents, including opponents he lost to? Mike Tyson falls. Fans call it pre-Mike Tyson prison beast. That's from Shiz. Okay, guys, we're going to end with Shiz, the top G of the chat room. We're going to end it with that one. Please, no more super chats. That's the last one. Oh, no, a super chat. As I say that, a super chat comes in. Guys, I'm going to just do this one and then the last super chat. No more super chats. If any super chats come in, I'm not answering them. Guys, Mike Tyson went to jail. I believe it was 5 years. After that, he came back. He was never the same. Would he beat Lennox Lewis? I think that's the real question. I think yes. Let me tell you guys a little story. Lennox Lewis used to train in Toronto. He used to train with an old boxing trainer of mine. That boxing trainer moved to Montreal and I trained with him. And he used to tell me stories. He says, Lennox Lewis, we used to train him when he was really, really young. And one day we got invited to go to New York to train with a young man named Mike Tyson. And this young man named Mike Tyson gloved up with Lennox Lewis. Because why did they bring a Canadian guy? Because nobody could stand with this young kid named Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was very young. I think he was like 18 at the time. 19 maybe. Not even 18. Maybe 18. Very young, this phenom. So they brought Lennox Lewis. And guess what? They say that Mike Tyson stopped Lennox Lewis. Now, I have a trainer who trained with Lennox Lewis, and he was telling me that, yes, Mike Tyson is the best amateur fighter because Lennox Lewis is second best. Lennox Lewis then goes to England. He goes in the boxing circuit there. He avoids, in my opinion, he's avoiding Mike Tyson. He never crossed paths with Mike Tyson until Mike Tyson comes out of prison. And then Mike Tyson has like this tune-up fight after prison. And he's like, oh, well, I'm not ready to fight. In his post-fight speech, he's like, I'm not ready to fight Lennox yet. I need a few more fights and a few more fights. And sure enough, they pushed him to the Lennox Lewis fight. Now, Lennox Lewis, at that time, was in his prime. He waited out Mike Tyson when Mike Tyson was in jail. And I heard that in jail, he didn't throw one punch. 5 years. And then when he came back, he had a truckload of problems to deal with. Like, I'm not trying to make excuses for Mike Tyson, but I think Mike Tyson in his prime, I do believe he would have beat Lennox Lewis. That's my opinion. As a boxing enthusiast, I will tell you, I think he would have beat Lennox Lewis. Yes. But guys, you can't forget Lennox Lewis is one of the greatest of all time. But I still think Mike Tyson beats him. Okay, guys, last question of the night. If Mike... Oh, hold on a second. That's not right. It was something about Thai oil. Damn. No, it disappeared. It melted away. Hold on a second. Thank you, Amir. Okay, here it is, guys. The last question of the night is from Hussein Haitham. Is Namam Muay Thai oil good for recovery? Question mark. Is that yellow oil I saw Muay Thai master Peter use on Kevin Lee's shin when he got bumped onto his shin? That's from Hassan Haitham. Guys, Thai people use an oil. They use an oil and they massage themselves before practice. Guys, let me tell you something about that oil. Listen very carefully to me about that oil. Muay Thai master, my trainer, used to use that oil quite a bit. Never break a sweat and then put the oil on. If you break a sweat, if you shadow box, you hit the bag a bit and you're sweaty, and then you put that oil on and your pores are open, it will burn you. It will crush you. It will crush you with pain. You have to put that oil on before you start working out. Now, when you put that oil on before you start working out, it feels good. It gives you like this warm heat feeling. It feels good. So if you're a bit sore, it'll mask the soreness. It won't heal the soreness. It won't help you recover faster. It just, in my opinion, it helps you feel better. People enjoy it. Okay? Now, Thai fighters, before they go out to fight, they do their whole body in that oil. They think it has a bit of a numbing agent because it feels nice and warm. It kind of numbs the pain. I do agree that it numbs the pain. If you have a bruise on your shin, it numbs the pain. Why? It creates a heating sensation that kind of like interferes with the signal that the bruise is giving you. That's what I think it is. Okay, that's just my opinion. Thai fighters put it on their whole body before a fight. They massage Vaseline and Thai oil onto their body. When I was at the stadiums in Thailand, they don't do warm-up. They don't shadow box. They don't hit pads. They get massaged in oil and Vaseline, their whole body, and then they go out to the fight. They don't warm up. It's crazy. Will it help you heal faster? Not faster. It'll mask the pain. That's my opinion. It just masks the pain. It doesn't do anything to actually heal faster. Now, Peter, my Muay Thai master, he puts the oil on your shin when you bruise your shin, and then he uses his incredibly powerful hands to massage the bone, to massage the bruise off your bone. That is incredibly painful. And Muay Thai master used to laugh at us when he used to do that. He used to slap us, but he's going to work that welt off your shin. I'm telling you, I've had it done to me. It's incredibly painful. Guys, I've seen killer fighters scream in pain. It's ferocious. Muay Thai master loves it. Ha, 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 ha. And he'll just massage it off. He's just crazy. My trainer is crazy. Now, I have a much better solution. Now, you know me. I'm the opposite of Muay Thai master. Muay Thai master's feverish, crazy, wild, and crazy man. Me, I'm more calculated. And I'm more of a scalpel. He's a chainsaw. We used to complement each other. Our two minds working together was very complementary. Okay, because sometimes you would remind me that, hey, sometimes you need to have blood and guts. You know, he would remind me of that. And I really miss him for that. I have a much better way to get a welt off a shin bone. Okay, you take a plastic cup, you fill it up with water, you put it in the freezer, you let the water freeze, and then you take that ice out of the cup. Now it's going to be shaped like a cup, right? You hold that ice-shaped ice with a towel. Okay, so you grab it with a towel. Now you have this huge piece of ice. And now you go on the welt that's on your shin bone. Guys, if you've done Muay Thai, you get welts on your shin bone. You got to massage them off your shin bone, or else it'll create lots of pain when you train. Using the ice, you massage that welt off your shin bone. Why ice? Because the ice, as your shin gets colder, it gets more and more numb. As it gets more and more numb, you can put more and more pressure because it's going to be painful at first. You got to ice it. You just ice it at first. You let it numb out, and then you start massaging it gently. As you're massaging it gently, it's going to get more and more numb. You can add more and more pressure. It's basically a natural anesthetic. Slowly, you can work the bruise off the bone. Once the bruise is off the bone, you can go back to training. It's not painful anymore. Now, why didn't Muay Thai Master use that method? Because for him, it was funner to make these pro fighters scream and yell in pain. And why would he go to the fridge? Why would I walk all the way to the fridge to get ice? That's not fun. Let me just put a little Thai oil, and that's my master. I miss him. I loved him then, and I love him still now. And I honestly, I had great memories with him. And one of those great memories with him was him massaging welts off my shin. I wouldn't have used my method. I prefer he use his method on me because it made for incredible memories. And I'm sure Kevin Lee has some fight memories. GSP, believe me, GSP's also felt the pain. All the fighters of TriStar Gym have felt the pain. And believe me, we miss the sweet taste and sweet sting of that pain. Muay Thai Master is always going to be missed, always going to be remembered, and inshallah we'll see him again. Guys, with that said, I bid you all a good night. Please like, share, and comment. And don't forget, use the promo code LEVELUP50 off and get 50% off anything at jujiclub.com. I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode. Thank you.